everybody gets mods, even Simon.
Yeah.
Which is scary. I know.
Everyone
Simon
gets
did it.
booted. 1 second.
wait, I can't kick Steve. Shit.
Yeah.
Everyone
I
gets
think I've only kicked
Oh,
one
look, I got
person
my mic.
ever
Yeah,
from a
see,
hangout.
my beautiful microphone.
I've
I
kicked
think I've
several
only
people.
ever kicked Arcane from a hangout.
That's fine. Yeah, you can kick okay. Yeah.
All right. So where do we leave off? I'm
I don't-
looking at more pizza stuff. What actual evidence do we have of child rape, if any? I mean, that's what matters to me. If somebody's a pedophile, I don't care as long as they're keeping their hands to themselves.
Well, have you looked at or have you seen the images that were posted by the owner of Comet Ping Pong? Very, very, very questionable photos of children, and there's multiple ones. So that's a place we can start, right? For the linkage towards some sort of child abuse or child sexual, right?
I have seen and heard about some of these. They seem to have innocent explanations. If you don't think so, though, I guess. I think it's
well, I guess it would be good to know which ones you've seen.
Would you like a brief background, Steve, JD, that would help you understand?
Links are great. I will follow every link you throw up.
Okay, I'll post some links.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, JD, it goes back to initially, as I mentioned, I'm going to, at the risk of repeating myself in two separate hangouts on the same channel, is that there was a back and forth on the political side of things between John Podesta and Andrew Breitbart, who's sadly no longer with us. Breitbart and he have gone back and forth over tweets, accusing each other of this and that, and knowing stuff about each other, and threatening to reveal this and that about each other. This was like 5 years ago, and it was mentioned then by Breitbart that Podesta may have been involved in some nefarious activities. So we then get to the point where the election campaign kicks off, and there are people who want to try and discredit Hillary, obviously, for obvious reasons, because people do that. There are people that want, so the Hillary Trump thing. So someone decides to send John Podesta some emails with viruses in, or phishing emails, whatever they're called. Podesta, unfortunately, replied to one, and thereafter his email password was captured by another person. That person then downloads the entirety of John Podesta's emails from his server and sends them to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks then publish the emails, and during the course of the internet out there, decide to disseminate these emails and find that some seem to look a bit odd and have some context in them and some references, a lot of references. In some cases, I think it's something like 80 of the emails mentioned pizza, 90 something mentioned cheese. I'm not sure on the exact figures, something like that. So anyway, people are disseminating these emails and see that some don't seem to make any sense at all, until someone says, well, there is this pedophilic code that's about, and if you apply that code, or if we try and work out what the code is, they suddenly make more sense. And then they start looking at links to those emails and other people and their Instagram accounts, and that's where it all arose. Some people posted it on Reddit, some people posted it on 4chan, some people ignored both of those and posted on Twitter, some posted on Facebook, blah, 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 different formats. So that's where it all comes from. Of course, there are some idiots that are linking it way up the chain because Podesta is Clinton's manager. She must be the Queen Witch that's involved in all, and she's eating the babies, and they're shipping them all around the world, and Obama's involved. Yeah, that went too far. I think, in my view, what you need to focus on is these individuals that have been found to have the links to the artwork, and this performance artist, Abramovich, and other people like the Alefantis, the owner of the pizzeria, is also linked to it, and then that's where it all comes from. In a nutshell.
I'm sorry, I'm smiling because I'm reading some of the links. Here is John Podesta referring to a torture chamber, the thing. Still in torture chamber. Another question. Do you two want to have February 14th Valentine's Day dinner? Sent from my iPad.
Yeah, but just see, if you go down just a tiny bit after.
It'd be cool if he actually has a torture chamber and he's just like, yeah, I'm still cutting this girl up. And by the way, what are you guys doing on the 14th?
Well, if you just scroll down a bit, you'll see a bunch of like blue hyperlinks, one after the other, with titles like.
Not from this particular source, but.
Oh, well, it says, warning, this is disturbing stuff. And the first one's called Chicken Lover. And then there's links to all of his Instagram.
I saw a Chicken Lover one that seemed like, who cares? But all right, I'll keep looking.
Well, some people, there is another symbology of clover. Clover is also short for chicken lover. So instead of putting chicken lover, which also is a word that homosexual men have used as a code and other paedophiles have used as a code. Chicken lover could mean young boy. That is the thing. But instead of putting,
Actually, I heard it was something else, not chicken lover.
well, there's chicken hawk, chicken this, chicken that. But also,
well, not chicken lover. I mean, the thing is, when it gets to codes, they're specific. You say the term or you don't say the term.
There are various codes.
Could it simply be that the person likes chicken? Like I said, here's my issue with in general. What I'm keeping still looking, but there tends to be an innocent explanation for all of it. And the thing is, if you look through my life and start looking at particular things I've said and take it either out of context or without talking to me, you might also come up with, oh, I think he also rapes children. I mean, come on, he also says chicken lover. I've said chicken lover before, said it many times. I am a big fan of chicken, but if you didn't know that, you might think something else. I've said all kinds of horrible jokes. There's probably some artwork in here. I mean, who has the scream on their wall?
Yeah, but it's not just the one thing there.
Because that could be a kid there. Those could be attacking pedophiles coming for the kid. Yeah, who knows?
You're isolating things and not taking them in the larger context and the links they have to all the other circumstances.
I don't think there's a larger context. I think that's where I'm at right now. I don't think there's a larger context. I think if you take enough little bits and pieces and tie them all together and ignore that most of it is innocuous and innocent, then you can come up with the idea, hey, maybe there's more to this. I don't think there is. I think there's a little bit of cherry picking going on where it's like, okay, here's all this stuff. All right, this one looks bad, this one looks bad, this one looks, and then all this other stuff has much better explanations. Isn't it more likely that all of it has a rather innocent explanation and there's no secret child rape ring going on?
Well, no, I don't agree. I don't think so.
We'll find out in time, right?
Yeah, of course. I think that's what everyone wants. You have your opinion on it. I have mine.
I'm not sure what everyone wants to happen though at this point. Has anyone actually called
people
the precinct?
Want an investigation? That's what they want.
Like I said, has anyone called the precinct that the Comet Pizza is in?
Yes. Of course, people have been contacting the FBI. People have been
Hey, what do they have to say?
There's a major push. Well, how much can they say to some random Joe Schmo contacting them and saying, "Hey, you should investigate this"? What are they going to say to that person?
Yeah, there are videos out there of people that have recorded themselves calling the FBI, and they've just been told, "Yeah, we'll take the details. Yeah, we know a bit about it. We've seen it on the internet. Thanks very much." And then people are seeing that nothing seems to be happening. It may well be that they are already investigating behind the scenes. And I think the issue is that mainstream media are just dismissing it, which is feeding the conspiracy theory, that part of it, and that the authorities don't.
I'll be honest, if you guys weren't talking about it, I'd probably dismiss it too. Because like I said, most people who are putting it forth are nutballs. The fact that you guys think it might be some, all right, I'll take another look.
You can't, yeah, but I mean, just put hashtag Pizzagate into Twitter. Are you going to tell me that hundreds of thousands of people are all nutballs?
Well, there's millions of creationists. It's not hard to find nutballs these days. The internet makes it very easy for everyone to get together, and especially this one right now is going crazy. If in 6 months Pizzagate's still a thing, I'd be like, okay, maybe I was wrong about that. It's still going. This one seems more fad-like to me. That someone's like, hey, I found this thing about pizza. Let me keep looking into it.
Is everything a creationist says wrong because they are a nutball creationist?
No, it just makes it more likely.
Really?
Especially if they're talking about creationism.
So what about Ken Miller, who's a theist?
What about him?
Well, you would probably argue that his...
look at the chicken lover one.
No, you would probably argue with Ken Miller that his views of God are irrational. And
is it safe to screen share this stuff? This one seems perfectly innocent.
Have I suddenly gone mute?
Yeah, sorry, I'm also looking at other stuff here.
Could you actually screen share what you're looking at, JD Kane?
I'll have that question answered first, though.
Yeah, here it is.
JD, you and Ken Miller could have a discussion, and you would say that his views on theism or God are irrational. Doesn't make him a completely irrational person, and everything is irrational.
I agree. Anyway, that
was Alex Botton's argument about Tommy Robinson. He views him as a racist, and so therefore nothing he says or does or any light he's portrayed in could possibly be correct because he's a racist.
No, that's going too far. Anyway, this is supposed to be bad.
Well, there are some people that have said that the necklace itself is a code as well.
Yeah, but is it though?
I don't know.
Really?
I've not seen much about the necklace. I've tended to.
The thing is, who is the guy? Who is the kid?
Well, and it says
hashtag his niece or nephew or
hashtag chicken lovers, right?
Where's
who's pictured here? Who is?
Hang on. Look at the context of the picture, JD. Where is the chicken in that picture?
There is no chicken.
Yeah. That's
So why has James Alephantis, the owner of the pizzeria, posted an Instagram picture that isn't him of a man with a very young child with the hashtag chicken lovers? Considering the context.
Right, but hold on. This leaves us with an unanswered question, not a conclusion that something fishy is going on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not
We don't know who it is or who the girl is.
Yes, by looking at
and-
one thing. Yes. Okay. So take this into.
Has someone asked him about it, Mr.
Yeah, but
Alpha?
take it into consideration and then continue to look at the evidence.
Yeah, if we sit there and
Actually, I'm following the chicken lovers hashtag. Let's see where that goes. Yep, people who like chicken.
Yeah, and look, none of them have small children with no chicken in it.
Well, it looks like chicken lovers comes up with things for chicken. So if you follow the guy's hashtag, you find.
Okay,
stuff
why
about
don't
it.
you
Yes,
type
but
into
that
Google
photo
Search?
has no chicken in it.
Why, JD? Do you not realize why that sounds dumb?
Well, I've linked or sent messages to people playing things that seem to make no sense.
Okay,
in
but
the
you
This is the
context.
picture of a
just
guy
typed
holding
in
a child.
hashtag-
Hashtag chicken lovers. Why did he put the hashtag on there?
Yeah, you just typed in hashtag chicken
I
lovers,
have
and guess
no
what?
idea, but
come
it
up with
seems
a bunch of
innocent enough.
photos.
I have no
he's-
idea is the answer we're looking for.
Yes,
Let's
you
continue
come up
looking
with
at
a
things.
bunch of photos of chicken when you type in hashtag chicken lovers. Now,
Okay,
what's the difference between that and that other photo you're looking at?
Okay,
There's
why? All right, let me put it this way.
There's
Why
no
do you
chicken
think
in the
this
photo,
is-
right?
All right, why
It's
do you
a
think?
chicken.
Hold on. All right, why do you guys think this is evidence of a child rape ring?
that in itself is not evidence of a child rape
No.
ring.
This is JD. This is the nature of circumstantial evidence. It's a track record of
adds up
several
upon
different things
itself.
that start to add up to something. Now,
Here's-
the things that we want you to notice about this picture is that it contains a small child, uses the word chicken lovers, and yet also does not contain any chicken. Are all these facts true?
yeah.
Is this in
continue.
itself evidence of anything? No. But when you put it with all of this other evidence, it starts to create a picture, and
All
it's
right.
not very
The next-
pretty.
The next thing, if the hashtag chicken lovers is associated with the photograph, would it make sense for there to be chicken in it?
Well, listen, this
Is
is.
the answer yes to that question?
I'm sorry, you already know the answer to the question.
And also,
Right.
is
I
chicken,
However-
chicken a known
however-
pedophile
Wait.
term?
However,
Would
it's
it make
not
sense
a
to
known-
put chicken lovers as
It
a
is.
hashtag associated with that photo? Does that make sense?
I'm sorry. All right, someone give me evidence that chicken lover is actually a pedophile term, other than
Right, hang on,
Infowars.
hang on,
saying
I'll
it
do
is,
that
which is
right
always
now.
what I've
Yeah, we'll
found
do
is-
that right now.
I'll do that right now for you. If you can go to there's odps.org gloss word. Cheese eater is a young male in league with the police to entrap homosexuals into performing acts of sex in a public place, or any boy under the age of consent that seduces an adult to have sex. Cheesing is the search for sex. Hang on, let me finish. Cherry picker is a homosexual that seeks those that have never experienced it up the arse in anal intercourse, or a man who enjoys teenage or boyish, adolescent, juvenile, young-looking or youthful boys. Chicken, any boy under the age of consent.
I'm sorry,
A
A
chicken
very young
lover.
person, a very young. Well, yeah. So if you're a chicken lover, you're a lover of a boy who is under the age.
How am I not aware of like chicken? Apparently, is some kind of code.
Because you're not a pedophile, so you wouldn't be aware of
That's
pedophile
true.
slang, obviously.
A chicken freak is an elderly man with a sexual need for young men. A chicken hawk is a paedophile with a
Sorry,
sexual.
can you give me the link? Where is this?
Okay, look
I
at
linked
my
it in the
screen,
site.
but I'll link it as well. So this is definitionof.com, chicken lover, adult slang, the adult male homosexual sexually attracted to underage males. Used somewhat derogatorily, synonyms, chicken fancier, chicken hawk, chicken hunter, chicken plucker, chicken queen, pedophile.
Chicken butcher is a man who enjoys deflowering young boys. A chicken dinner is sex with a teenager. Chicken freak is an elderly man. Chicken hawk, chicken hunter, chicken kisser, chicken neck is an uncircumcised
I'm
penis.
sorry, it's used derogatorily.
Yeah,
Why
but
would
if it's
the
a
guy
ring,
refer
you
himself like
expect
that?
to see that hashtag. If it's chicken lover, if someone is advertising that they're a paedophile with some sort of coded word like chicken lover, then that hashtag would appear with other babies and people's arms. And we're saying,
you know what? Hold on. I think I might get. All right.
and
Okay,
what's
this
more,
isn't-
there were other pictures of people who weren't holding chickens. There were two females who just said they're chicken lovers, not that they had to feature chicken in it. You just had to love
the reason
chicken.
why it's useful as a slang.
I can see this
because
better as a dark
it's something that
joke.
would commonly be used in another context.
Okay, well, the way I see it now makes more sense as a dark joke. Like, hey, dude, you like to fuck kids.
Right. Okay. So let's go with the dark joke, and then let's move on to other.
Because
pieces.
I've said shit like that.
But so far,
that actually,
this
that
is-
makes a
this
bit
is
more
weird.
sense.
This is not something that you would post on your Instagram. Am I right?
Well, look how many likes it got. It's not like this.
Right. No, it's not. He's not a hugely popular guy, right?
In fact, where did this get sent to? That's the question. Was it like public, or is I'm not honestly I'm not an Instagram guy.
Well, and you say he's not a hugely popular guy, except he was voted the 49th most influential guy in Washington D.C. Right? And he owns a pizza place. Like that's a little weird, but yeah. His Instagram's not very popular.
Yeah, why would a mere pizzeria owner be the 49th most powerful man in
Okay,
America?
I'm getting so much. All right, what do you guys actually think is going on? Or did you just want an investigation?
Can I maybe suggest that Mark kind of
are we-
repeats himself to what he was saying in the last broadcast?
Yeah,
Because there's a
I'm
lot
not
more
saying
viewers and
Hillary
things like that.
Clinton eats babies and is a
Yeah.
head witch of a paedophile satanic ring.
And neither
I'm
am
not
I.
saying I'm not
No,
saying
no,
that Obama eats babies or does the same thing or is any way involved. I
And
think
neither am I.
that I'm
we've
suspicious of.
hang on, we've got people that just happen to be connected to Hillary Clinton, either directly or indirectly, that may have the most hideous hobbies, may well be involved in some nefarious acts, may well be paedophiles or involved in a paedophile ring, which do exist, as we know. All of circumstantial evidence tells me that something is not right and that these people perhaps need to be investigated properly by the authorities. That's it.
Well, I have no disagreement with an investigation.
I think you've not seen the sort of main meat of the argument. I think Mark might have been putting forward because you've been looking at some pictures where there's like maybe a little bit of correlation. But I don't know how much you might have seen of the
There's art
last sort of
pieces that were hanging
broadcast.
up in the
I'll
pizza.
find those photographs for you again. Hang on.
One of my issues with a lot of the photos I'm seeing is that there's no chain of evidence, and I know for a fact there are quite a bit of fake ones going around, probably put up by
I don't deny that. That's what happens.
Yeah,
with these
No,
guys.
that's, as soon as I
I've
start
never seen that happen before. I assume it
this-
happens. I've never seen it happen myself.
Okay,
You've
There's
never
some
seen fake
came up,
photos
I
go
was
around with
like,
a conspiracy
wow,
theory? Are you kidding me?
Pizzagate? That sounds
9/11.
hilarious. That must
go,
be some
JD.
sort of troll
here
thing.
are some pieces of art from the woman
I
whose
thought.
artwork
Well, I see.
decorates the
I've seen that
Bethesda.
one.
Yeah, these are.
I've seen that one. The issue is
Right.
I have no reason to think that actually was in his place.
Well, there are. Hang on. Well, okay. This is so. We're looking at the Podestas who enjoy this art and have some of it in their home. Okay, fine.
Right.
One
So,
of them
so
did-
again, that's the
one of
claim. I have no reason to think that's
I- I
actually
Well, there
ever
are.
been
There are.
done by the ever been the pizza place.
Well, I'll leave you
Let
to
him,
go
let him
and do
get there.
some more. I'll leave you to go and do some more research to find photographs of this artwork in his home. I can find you one in a minute. I'll try. This one at the bottom right also shows this piece of material. As I said,
This is
earlier.
Elefantis' home? Is this Podesta or Elefantis? Who are we dealing with here?
It's both.
Both. All right.
Some of the artwork by another artist and this one that Elephantis enjoys, and most of it is the Podestas. The bottom right one shows the piece of material, or if you like, handkerchief that molesters use to gather bodily fluids.
What
which they
artist
then
is
keep as
this?
this one is, I think her name is
That's what I want to know.
Noble. I think her name is Noble. I can't remember, but I'll find her
Yeah, I
last
just
name.
saw that one. Hold on a sec. I just had that up. It went away. Yeah, like she's apparently has multiple personality disorder. She's been on Oprah.
This is
she's
an
been
e-
mentioned
oh,
in The Guardian.
I've got there. This is an email from someone called B. Coleman to John Podesta that mentions insurance, and then his last line says, "As for dinner, I'm not particularly fussy about the type of pizza I enjoy, just as long as there's no hair on it. I hate hair on my pizza."
Okay, that is as innocent as it gets. I also do not like hair on my pizza.
Well, yeah, but who would have to specify they don't want
I've
their pizza?
never sent
I
that.
don't-
in.
Anyway, the photographs.
Do people speak that way about pizza?
Oh, by the way, you wouldn't go in a Domino's and sit and order it and say, "Well, I'll have the cheese. My son will have a hairless Hawaiian."
Right.
You just ask for Hawaiian. You don't need to specify to staff in Pizza Hut that you wouldn't like hair on your pizza. That goes without saying. So here's some more of the art.
He's talking to a friend. He's messing around. That this
Well,
is like,
okay, that's-
oh no, what I really want is I want a child that's
in the
like,
larger
just
context.
trying to get that
the
out of
larger
it. I don't
context.
see it.
Yeah. In the larger context of the other circumstantial evidence, that
Well, no, we haven't established that context yet. You're coming to this from the point of view of if he's a child rapist.
Well,
Let him
Like,
establish the context, JD. Like, we can't start
So
out the
we're looking at
conversation
this-
with the context set up.
well, I mean, if we start off with the idea,
No,
that-
we have came to that claim because we have looked at all the evidence, which we're now presenting to you, and we have came to a conclusion that there's just something weird going on, right?
So rather than dismiss each little piece of evidence or each photograph, can we deal with it at the end as a whole, is what we're saying, Jim?
Okay, this art. We're saying this art. We know that this guy Podesta has got this artwork that Mark is showing up now at the moment in his house. Do we know that for a fact?
I've not seen any evidence for that.
I'll find you some in a minute.
I mean, I have no problem with him owning this particular person's artwork. Why not?
Before we continue, can you say this thing that actually was kind of eerie to me, Mark? Where you're saying that there are other people that work in investigative professions as well as law enforcement that also found this very fishy.
Yes.
Right. It's like go in because you gave a lot more details about that that I found to be interesting.
All right. Well, Mark, why are you linking this
people you had talked to or
particular?
something?
What am I supposed to get out of this? I see artwork.
Okay, the artwork depicts children in I mean, Jay tried to take one of these offers. These are kids waiting for an exam. Well, that looks to me like either a bathroom or a shower room or something. I mean,
As an examination, waiting for an examination.
Examination.
Yes, but artwork.
A medical examination.
This is any court of this would not be evidence of wrongdoing.
I'm not saying it is. You keep doing this. You keep saying, "Well, that's no evidence of wrongdoing." Then we're going to the next. Right. Of course,
well,
we're not saying
into a pizzeria.
There's nothing to investigate yet.
Paintings.
You want to know?
Kid.
You don't.
That's part of the
question.
Like that. I don't know if I'd visit that place anymore. If I walked in and there was like paintings.
What about this one, JD? This is the owner of the pizzeria, James Elefantis, showing something. Piece of artwork that depicts a young female child having her buttocks opened.
What makes you think that's a child?
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Look at the size of the damn
child with an adult's hand.
I'm sorry.
on
I'm saying blacked out. I don't.
Well, the blacked out bit, if you look above that, there's two hands. It's been blacked out because what it actually shows is, I think, either a male having sex with the. Or
Where can I find the unedited picture so I know what the hell I'm looking at? And again, artwork is artwork. It can be racy.
I'm not saying that.
I mean, Cincinnati had a huge thing about that.
You want to let me finish, JD, or not?
You're heading off points that he's not making.
Yeah, you're just dealing with stuff I haven't even mentioned. I'm asking you to consider why the owner of the pizzeria is putting these sorts of things on his Instagram with other photographs, and let alone the comments.
So this is the owner of the pizzeria on the left-hand side, is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is an Instagram post. Jimmy Comet is James Elefantis, the owner of the pizzeria.
Right.
He has interest. The man in the corner is part of the artwork.
Right.
It's called.
So he posted this on Instagram. He posted this picture on Instagram.
Amongst others, yes.
Right, and he has and you're saying he also has those pieces of artwork that you showed earlier in his house.
Not that exact one. There are other
similar. Okay, similar ones.
Similar,
but this is
such as this one. This one on the left is actually a Comet Ping Pong that he owns flyer, and it is related to the artwork on the right. It is a depiction of it that children are so traumatized by the experience of the abuse. Some children have reported themselves to try and get themselves outside of their bodies so that they are not connected to the abuse as it happens. So the argument is the claim is
I
that
actually like that one on
this is another one where I'd like to see some evidence that this was from Ping Pong or there's anything to do with anything that's not one of the facts.
Well, the bit on the left at the bottom says Comet Ping Pong, Friday, April the 6th, 10 p.m., $10, all ages. It's a flyer.
How hard is it to write that? How 10 minutes in Photoshop I can make that. Where's the evidence that it actually came from?
I'll let you go and look at Comet Ping Pong flyers. Easy to Google.
Well, again, from Comet Ping Pong or from some guy saying, hey, this is from Comet Ping Pong?
But what do you want me to do? Go and get the flyers myself and bring them to your house?
Well, it's on a website that we can trace back to a website that they presumably they would have that flyer on their website somewhere or something.
That would do it, yes.
Yes,
if there's something directly linked into it, because as Ocean admitted, there's always fake shit flying around.
Right, but at the top right of that flyer is, I think it's Sasha Lord Presents. There's also, I can see somethingjohnson.com by altheajohnson.com. They produced the flyer, so it's easy to go to their website. I mean, come on, people, do some of your own research, eh? So there's that. There is also, don't think I've got any other photographs. That's the only photographs of the artwork I've got at the moment that's saved.
Well, these are ones I've actually seen already.
Okay.
Right, so, but what we need to know is to track this. Has he got? I mean, that's not the sort of artwork most people would have in the house. I'd agree with that. If you can demonstrate this, whichever it is, the Podesta guy or the owner of the pizza place has got those pictures of children, which clearly are the sort of thing you would expect a paedophile to have, and most people would find them.
Okay.
Not
Just give me a second then. Seeing as no one else wants to go and do it themselves, I'll try and do it for you.
Yeah, I'm fine with the guy being. Well, here's the thing. Let's assume for the sake of argument that all of this comes from him. That all this is true. Let's assume all of this so far is true.
I've just Googled straight away, just out of interest, and I'll just screen share that. Hold on a second. Ignore the source. It's just the first result on Googling, just to give you an idea. There we go.
Well,
there is art in John Podesta's office depicting cannibalism hanging in his campaign office. That's the artwork.
yeah, I saw that. It's
Guy with the plate and the knife and fork in the bottom.
seen
That's
this
just
too.
one. So
yes,
okay,
ignoring the fact that it's in Boris. Yes, I believe it's a
someone
legit
else-
picture.
Didn't someone just say, can you give me some evidence that he's got this?
It's his first
hanging
Google.
in-
Let him off for.
Yes, I've seen this
Because
picture.
you're
The
asking
ones
to
you've
provide-
posted already are not in there. That is not like any of the pictures you've shown yet. This has nothing to do with children.
Basically,
yes,
this
I'm
picture
wondering-
makes it so that it's not
Finish then,
necessarily
for fuck's
unbelievable.
Let me finish the whole thing rather than shitting on it before I've even finished answering the question.
I didn't shit on it. I said I've seen
You
it.
did. You just attacked that one straight away before I said.
It's his first Google, JD. Give him a bit of a chance.
All right.
It's not that one. That's the first. That's the second.
Yeah, I mean, we're putting you on the spot
just
here, Mark. So I
Googled art
appreciate
in
that this is
Podesta.
quite tricky for you to do. Just a quick. And how do we know that? I mean, how do we know that? What sources do we have for knowing that he's actually got these in this?
I'm just looking for them. I'm just
Okay, all
looking.
right.
So
Okay, it's just that earlier you said
while
you
he's
knew for a
looking for them,
fact.
hold on a
It's just
second,
it's just
I'll put
earlier you
forward
said you
something.
knew for a fact that those pieces of artwork were there. So I presumed you had some evidence to hand.
Well, I haven't kept it all on my computer. Just give me a break. You asked me to
Okay,
find.
all
And you're
right.
saying, oh, you haven't found it yet. It's a load of bollocks.
No. It's just you did say you definitely knew they had it. Then I assume
Yeah.
that
Yes,
meant you
I'm
had it in
trying
your
to find the
memory.
link.
He hasn't put together a fucking PowerPoint yet. This wasn't
No,
necessarily.
but that's quite a statement though. When you ask and you say yes, I definitely know that, and he hasn't expressed why he knows that. I mean,
Well,
I'm happy with the
Because I've
verbal.
seen it, and I just said I'll try and find it. Fucking hell, wind your neck in.
Yeah.
You're getting over. You're overreacting now, Mark.
Because you're saying you haven't got it yet. You haven't done it
No,
immediately.
I don't mind that bit, but it's just you made a statement earlier. You definitely knew, and I'm just wondering what you based that statement.
And I
on.
said, if you give me a second, I'll find it for you.
Okay, but
He's
Then
also
before I've
said that
even
he's seen
found
it.
it,
so you
you said there's
okay.
one. That is Podesta's main design
You're
change
not
for the house.
sharing at the moment.
From what I heard, it was you said there was people checking in, and you could see the pictures in the background from where they were checking in at the pizza place.
Yep. So, looking at the images, am I sharing now? There's one. That's Tony Podesta's home.
Okay. Beautiful.
Okay, and this photograph here is depicting a young boy. It's the same artist.
Actually, looks like a girl, but whatever. All right, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
looks like
the
a
same
girl.
artist. I have no.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
There is
keep
Tony Podesta's. There is Tony
Yeah, that's all right.
Podesta's statue, which is a replica of Jeffrey Dahmer's victim that was decapitated. That's another thing that's been
Cool.
mentioned.
I mean, no connection to child rape, obviously.
No, I didn't say it was. I just said that.
Why? All right, listen. Is there a narrative here or not? It's just these guys are weird, and we should investigate them for being weird, or is there some specific thing you think they've done? This is what's a little frustrating about this. It's
I
one thing
didn't
to be
say
like,
he's done
he's
anything.
not saying
Why do you
anything.
think
Well,
I
but
have?
so far, all we
just
got
say
is
something-
he's
can I
a
say something
weird
real
guy.
quick? Can I say something real quick? Because there was this guy in the UK. What's his name? Savile, Jimmy Savile, or something, right?
Yeah, Jimmy.
Yeah, it
Savile.
turned out to be a
Right.
major child
His
rapist.
his whole life, he was kind of like this weird guy, and he would have all these things, and people would be like, no, he's not none of this. And then when he died, everyone found out that it was true. So I think that it behooves us to investigate strange folks, especially strange folks that put thing on display. Because you see this artwork behind me. This is artwork that you would find in somebody's house or in somebody's office. That's more well put together or something. You wouldn't find
all right, well,
decapitated.
let me-
Yeah,
hold
but
on, one
artists,
second, one
artists
second.
tend
You
to
wouldn't
have quite
find
a
you
lot
wouldn't
of-
find decapitated people and little children.
Well,
and
a lot of artists
strange-
who have that sort of thing. I mean, there are lots of weird artists who do have
Rumpus,
stuff like
you asked me
Yeah,
to provide it.
Yeah,
There it
well,
is.
all right, here's the big.
That's just
Hold on,
my
I'll let
Mark.
Rumpus go then.
Mark's
It's just my
providing.
opinion, though. I'm not saying it's a fact. That's just my opinion. That's
Oh
just.
no,
my
I'm
opinion.
fine with that, and I agree with you. But there's a difference. Jimmy Savile was accused. There were allegations of child abuse.
No, there were not.
Yes,
No,
I'm
there were
reading.
not.
I'm reading the webpage. Sporadic allegation of child abuse made against him dating back to 1963, straight from the wiki. He
That was
was
after
accused
the
of
fact.
child abuse, and people
No, it
didn't
was
take
not.
it seriously.
It was after
Right.
the fact. People said that he touched them or sexually assaulted them.
1963. Right, well,
Mark,
yeah.
people
police
came forward
investigated him
accused
on
of
about
this.
4 occasions. He was accused by
They
people.
dropped
The
him.
police investigated him 4 occasions, and those
Right, but there was no-
investigations were stopped.
So there were victims, and they were saying something. No one took them seriously.
And they
like,
went
no,
to
this
the
guy's-
police,
this
and
guy's
where else-
So that's
innocent,
what I'm
and
saying.
he seems to be
That's what I'm
this guy.
saying. I think that's a good reason to maybe take this a little seriously.
Well,
Just
no,
a little
in this
bit.
case,
not go full in. You know, don't go the whole 9. But I think
But I think Mark has a valid point about offering up these decapitation things. And then one of those things in his table was saying finish off. I was just wondering if Mark knew whether that equates to not just, and that was the most expensive one in his little table, whether there's, goes from rape and actually killing children. Is that part of this paedophile type?
Well, that other thing that has supposedly been hacked from behind the Comet Ping Pong website and their app, that's not been 100% confirmed to be genuine as yet. So it would be stupid to say finish off means this, that, or the other when the whole thing has yet to be confirmed to be legit.
Right. Yeah. So that. You had a picture there of his living room. With that picture, sorry, you stopped showing it now. So
2 pictures.
so
One looks as if it depicts children in the bottom of a swimming pool surrounded by leaves, and the other one is the one that's enlarged there.
And so we
Looks like-
know this. We definitely know this picture here is Podesta's living room. This hasn't
There's
just
2 pictures.
I'm
There's
fine
2
with this being his living room. Here's the thing. I don't see this as going anywhere. I see it as the guy with an interesting taste in art who makes odd and weird jokes from time to time. I see no
Weird
evidence of any
what about
wrongdoing.
that
Only the
one?
fact.
About-
Yes, I know.
If you saw this
Same
hanging in
artist.
some- If you
Again,
saw that
same
hanging in
artist.
your next door neighbor's living room, what would you think about your next door neighbor?
I would ask them. I was like, "Who did that? That's odd." And they'd probably give me a story if they're art fans. There's listen from Cincinnati. There's a guy who came
You
through.
wouldn't
All of his
ask.
all of his artwork was of like peeing on people and massive nudity. There's a huge outcry. This is back in the 80s. But you know what? Some people actually liked the art. They bought the art. Now,
Right.
people can have weird taste in art without being child rapists, and in having weird art is not, to me, evidence of child rape. Now, so far,
Didn't
what we
say it
have
was.
is hold on. All right, you've presented enough, Mark. I think is there
We'll
some
be
huge
fine.
thing you're going to present at this point? Is
He hasn't
this
even gotten knee
it?
deep in it yet, dude.
What else is there? Because so far it's all stuff I've seen. So
There's
give me
a
stuff I haven't
whole
seen
bunch
yet.
of shit, dude.
Give me
Like-
stuff I haven't seen. Do your own research, man.
Okay, I
why-
think
again-
what we can say is this is
I'm not making
the
a
sort
claim.
of thing. This is the sort of thing that a paedophile would have, but that doesn't necessarily make the person a paedophile. This is a case of an argument from ignorance type thing. So we certainly it's compatible with him being a paedophile,
Yeah.
but
And
it doesn't mean that he was.
doesn't mean he's a molester, because you can be a paedophile without being a child molester or a child rapist.
Yes, right.
So it doesn't.
Well, here-
It's not proof of anything. It's a
Well,
keep
that's
saying.
my issue. Is that so
There's
far we
lots-
don't even
I'm
have
not
enough
saying
evidence to
it's
say
true.
he's a pedophile.
I'm not saying he's a pedophile. I'm saying, if you bother to listen to everything I've said for the last 3 hours, is that the cumulative things point to something, in my opinion, that isn't a bit wrong and not right, that needs further investigation by the
What are they
proper
gonna look for?
authority.
What are they supposed to look for?
How do you think that
If he's a pedophile for real and he's got stuff, all they have to do is check his computer or his cell phone or any messages he tries.
There's
how
no
these
way they're going to get a
investigations
warrant
are.
at this point, though. Not with just, hey, he's got weird taste in art. Let's check.
No,
his
there's not enough to
computer.
get a warrant.
but
at
I'm
this
just
point, but there
saying,
is enough to start an investigation.
You need someone. You need some accusation. Someone to accuse him. Someone.
And the
some
victim,
parent
no,
the
to-
victim in this.
We need a victim. We don't have a victim, and that is my biggest issue with the whole scenario. Is that there are no victims.
At the moment, no child, no
That's not
child.
the
has
only
come
way
forward.
that an investigation can start, though.
No, of course not. I didn't say that, but
No, but you said we need it. That's what we need.
Well, to
think of every famous person you've ever thought of that's been accused of or convicted of child abuse. Bill
Here
Cosby,
you go, Rumpus.
Jimmy Savile.
Rumpus.
There's hold on.
Investigations
Still,
start without a
You
victim.
asked me for stuff, and
Hold
here
on,
it
guys.
is. That's the mural from Comet Ping Pong wall. A man playing ping pong while masturbating. That was on the wall of Comet Ping Pong. There's the photograph you asked for without the blacking
hold
out.
on. Well, go back to the last one. Go back to the last one, please. All right, what evidence is this on Ping Pong's wall?
Comet Ping Pong. This is a photograph that was taken.
Blue Yay?
Some of it's got graffiti on the toilets or other corridors, not just in the main pizzeria.
Right. Well, who's Blue Yay? Well, first, who's Blue Yay? Who's Blue Yay?
Blue Yay is one of the people that follows. Blue Jay is one of the people that follows James Alefantis, and this is his Instagram account of Blue Jay.
Shut up and are you sure? How do we know this is from Comet Ping Pong?
Blue Jay
this guy found this somewhere and took a picture.
It's on the Instagram account of the person that works there.
Okay.
That information is available elsewhere.
Okay, where did you get it from?
JD, I'm not making a claim that I need to provide you the evidence. I would suggest you go and do a lot more research yourself, and you'll find out.
Well, then I'm sorry, Mark, you're not giving me anything to work with. Right?
Okay.
Why should I have to do it?
That guy works at Comet Ping Pong, and he took a photo inside of his work, and it shows a guy playing ping pong and jerking his dick off in a place that welcomes kids, has a kids' party room. How does that not give you more to investigate?
Do we actually think this is in the place?
To be fair, I don't think the mural shows masturbation. I think that's been added by graffiti afterwards.
That's probably true. In which case, he's just playing ping pong and someone wrote shit on there.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking.
Even then, I have no reason to think this actually shows up at Ping Pong. Who wants to go in? Who lives nearby? Who wants to?
Someone's already been there, and the entire place has been renovated. The entire place.
Not even renovated. It's just been removed from the wall in a crude manner, leaving.
No, but the bathrooms were freshly renovated. They're painted pink and stuff.
Yeah. This is going back some while.
Because they had other murals on the wall.
I'm trying to add piece after piece of circumstantial evidence to give you an idea of what.
Can we hit pause for a sec? Just hit pause for a sec. You can, of course, search forever. All right, so here's my perspective, which, yeah, I'm disagreeing. Let me explain. So far, what I see is a guy who likes a particular artist and who, on a couple occasions, sent some weird Instagram pics. Actually, not even weird. It just added something that other people don't get, but the person he sent it to might go, "Oh yeah, that's our inside joke."
Mark, you should show them Madeline McCann.
Let me just wrap up because we can go on this. Obviously, this will probably be next Tuesday.
Works. These are public photos that have been posted on his Instagram page. It's like making a status post on Facebook.
All right. So, like I said, guy who likes a particular artist and a pizza place with ping pong paddles on their menu.
Okay, nobody mentioned.
Hold on.
Stop refuting evidence that no one's brought up.
I'm just. All
right, at this point,
I'm just trying
because we're not even knee deep into the circumstantial evidence.
By refuting evidence that no one has brought up.
Okay, I'm not just talking. I'm talking about the whole thing.
Okay, just talk.
Hold on.
Right, this is the same problem I have with Steve. Stop.
Okay, I would have been done by now if you guys didn't keep interrupting. Just let me conclude.
Well, start talking about stuff.
Anyone's watching this already where you guys
evidence that's being presented, and Mark hasn't even gotten through presenting even the bit of the evidence yet. Like,
what else? Why do you start with the shitty stuff then? Why do you start with the stuff that means nothing? What else is there?
Because all of it individually means nothing.
Where's the one that makes it amazing?
There isn't one that makes it amazing. Well, it's circumstantial goddamn evidence, JD. Holy fuck.
Take every piece of work this woman has done and line up next to it and look at it individually like, oh, the children again. Children.
Again, if you're not
owning a painting
and say that I am accusing someone of being a paedophile, then we're done. I'm not saying that at all.
Never said that. Not saying that.
You are.
That's what you're asking for. You're saying you're talking out of both sides of your mouth with this.
All right. If all we're concluding,
hold on. Circumstantial evidence. Wait, this isn't a smoking gun. That's not a smoking gun. That's not a smoking gun. I never said I had a smoking gun. Well, nobody's saying you had one, but you keep saying that there isn't one over and over and over again throughout the course of this conversation. Why the fuck are you doing that?
Okay. If all you guys are saying is that the guys, if you think he needs to be investigated, you're wrong. He's fine. If you're saying he has a weird taste in art and he's a bit of a weird guy, maybe fine. That's
weird
not
that
something
you can say that when you haven't seen all the evidence. It's odd that you would say, yeah, this guy who some people think might be abusing children, you've decided based on not reviewing all the evidence that he shouldn't even be investigated. That's interesting.
Is evolution
what else
true,
do I need
JD?
to see?
Is evolution true, JD? Is evolution true?
I've done the searches. Mark has now shown quite a few pictures. I've actually seen all of those before.
Is
I've
evolution
actually
true?
done some of this research. If there's something further, my issues show them. Show me something amazing that's not just artwork.
Have you seen the Madeline McCann?
Some kind of text
you're doing
that
is
is
the
very
same-
clearly.
What you're doing is the
well,
same.
again, you guys aren't actually accusing him of anything. So what are we even talking about?
Exactly.
You
So
have nothing to
you're
accuse him of
actually
except that he's
giving
weird.
up.
We should investigate. Investigate him for what?
Right.
Then you've got to accuse him of something or say that there's a chance he's doing something. If you
Sure,
don't want
but
to
this-
do that, shut the fuck
Stop
up already. Make
Stop
an
asking for
accusation.
transitional forms.
No,
I'm
why
saying
should I
make
make
an accusation? I'm
That's
saying
not what
make
it's
a
about.
claim of any kind. I will say, yes, there are transitional forms and I'll show them. You say there may or may not be child rape. Here's evidence of it. You haven't shown evidence of child rape. You showed evidence of artwork that a guy
I'm not saying
likes.
there is child rape involved. Who
That's
said
it.
there was child rape?
Honestly, what have I seen besides artwork and a couple of Instagram posts?
Because you keep interrupting and dismissing each individual piece rather than
They're
waiting.
all the same. You showed the same artwork for like 20
But
minutes.
I'll tell you what.
It's
I'll tell you
one
what.
artist. If he,
Because you
let me
keep
listen.
fighting it block
You
by
can
block,
explain
JD.
this. You can explain this innocently by
JD,
saying he
JD,
likes this
JD,
artist.
JD,
That takes
JD,
away
JD.
90% of the evidence been presented so far.
JD, you know what? Go and do your own research and come to your own conclusion.
I
and
did. My conclusion has already been presented. I thought you might present something I haven't seen yet, and you haven't. So clearly, we're
You
doing the
won't
same
get it
research,
done.
but something about you means you
Barely
think it's some
started.
Just shout it down. All you want to do is
God.
shout it down and done. Go and do your own research, not just in an afternoon.
I tried to say it was done. I got interrupted a lot, so I never closed. So that was my conclusion. This is nonsense we're talking about here.
Right.
You-
You did
you've-
a
I
you've
don't know
seen
why
it,
you guys
you've-
are putting so much into this. Or so much not into this and still talking about it. We're talking about an awful lot given that you don't think anything's really going on.
We've been talking about it an awful lot because you keep fighting him block by block by block by block by block on everything that he puts
Yes,
forward, saying
I'm saying
that
there are
each
innocent
individual piece of
explanations to all of this.
God damn it, JD! Each individual piece of circumstantial evidence is going to can be interpreted as innocent by themselves.
No, I'm
That's
saying
the
the
nature of it.
whole could be interpreted as innocent.
Right? Have you seen the whole? Is Mark done?
Yes, I've seen the whole. Was he
Oh,
more
You
artwork?
haven't
done.
seen the whole.
you
Is
have
there
not.
more
seen the
artwork
whole
I
by
haven't
any
seen?
stretch. By
It's
any
not
stretch of the
artwork.
imagination, you haven't
It's
seen that.
not
What you're
just
doing.
artwork. It's who
what you're-
owns different buildings. It's
The
They-
buildings. Oh Lord, not that. That's
Right.
Go and watch
where we
the
go
other
really
hand.
crazy
There's that
territory.
map of the plaza of who owns what buildings in that area and what the businesses are. That's really weird. There's the photograph of
Oh,
the
Lord.
jail area that the owner of the pizzeria says, "Hey, looks like a great place to have a good time." What the fuck is he talking about? I don't know. And then they start making jokes about it being a murder cave. That's something. I work in film. That's something that would pop up on an Instagram of somebody that I know. But these guys work in politics and pizza. I'm not sure exactly how that would pop up in that conversation, but fine. By itself, it's innocuous. But then when you look at it in the context of, well, this is the same guy that seems to have artwork of kids being molested, that's really strange after a while. And then owns a network of, and then there's a group of people that seem to own a network of buildings that are all associated with each other in the same political house. Okay, that's really interesting too. And then all of them are associated with Hillary Clinton's campaign, not necessarily implicating Hillary Clinton, but they could be implicating them with the campaign manager that has parties at this pizzeria all the time. It starts to look really weird after a while.
So that was a summary of the best bits of evidence to suggest that something weird's going on.
No, there is the hangout was
There's
before.
Oh,
even
of
more
course,
to
there's
that.
more.
That's just
Then
again
make
a
it big,
small
for
summary of
fuck's
some of the
sake.
issues.
I'm just tired of hearing about how there's so much more. I
If we're
followed the
gonna
links
do
you
this,
guys have
talk
presented.
over
I've
me.
seen the
Talk over
pictures.
each other.
You
all day,
haven't
JD,
let
if you like.
you haven't let Mark present shit.
How long does this take? Are you kidding me?
Don't interrupt him for a minute. Just let him speak for a little.
Yeah, go on,
while.
Mark. I can present the top 5 bits of information.
It's not a top 5.
No, you need all 1,200 of them. For fuck's sake. This is
Then
just.
be quiet.
I feel like I'm actually talking to conspiracy theorists. Right
You
now.
won't
This is
stop talking. Is the
odd
problem.
because I normally respect
See,
you
I
guys
feel
and
like
your
I'm talking
opinions,
to a
but now we're
creationist
getting
with you
weird.
on this, JD, because you keep you're dismissing each individual thing as it comes up. That's like, oh, this is
Well, this is very
this is
different
a
from
this is a
science
piece. This is a piece. This is a
We
piece.
don't have facts here. We have
Let
art.
him speak, JD. Let Ocean speak. Just
Like-
give him that decency. Yeah.
The idea is, it's like, this is honestly similar to the evolution debate, where it's like, this is a piece of evidence, this is a piece of evidence, this is a piece of evidence. And what the creationists will do is say, well, you have supplied this, but there's this that's wrong with it, and all of them are based on misconceptions and a lack of knowledge around the following issues. So if you want to let Mark actually kind of present little pieces, you need to not battle him on every single little
Okay.
piece of it.
Well, in that
and
case,
actually let
we
him
can
present the
close it
case
on that note.
rather
Close it
than
on that note. Think of it
attacking
like
everything at once.
All right, let's think of it like a scientific theory then. If all these things are true, if the explanation for this is that he's a pedophile, we should expect child
No.
abuse accusations. So maybe we wait and see if someone
That's
comes
not
forward.
what is being put forward.
I,
Now you're strawmanning the
all right,
situation. Stop
I'm
it.
saying this. right? Listen to me. I'm saying this. I'm not saying anyone else is. I'm
Let
saying
you continue with your
this
straw
like
man
model,
of what is being presented.
No, I'm not straw manning. I'm presenting my own case. If all of this is evidence of, say, a child rape ring, that is when the accusation is being made online, not by you guys. Honestly, if you guys aren't accusing that, I don't know why we're talking. If all of this is best explained by, let's say, a few friends being child rapists and engaging in this, then we would expect to see what predictions can we make. In that case, we would expect to see some accusations of molestation pop up that may or may not get go through. But that's one thing that's something we predict, right?
Not necessarily.
Well, that's a start. I mean, obviously, it could be true, and even though it's one pop, but that is something we might expect. So
tell me how
many children. Maybe we're on the right track.
Tell me how many children came forward in relation to Jimmy Savile.
Check the wiki. He had accusations. He had more than 0. We have 0.
Yes, he did have quite a few, Mark. He did have. There were 4 or 5 different police investigations into him.
How much artwork did Savile have that was of children?
Can you let me finish?
Well, you're making an analogy, but there seems to be nothing
analogous. You
analogous.
won't let me speak, for fuck's sake, JD. You're just ranting, and you won't let anyone speak, and you're interrupting people constantly, and grinning like it's a big fucking joke.
I have been yelling at you, but I haven't been able to get out full sentences for the most part without you interrupting and wanting to take off. And Mark is trying to calmly put forward. Mark has been trying to calmly put forward. Thank you for proving the point again. Trying to calmly put forward.
What point? Did I talk over people? I don't do that.
Now you're proving it again. I'm saying I can't get sentences out without you interrupting me, you little shit prick.
Yeah, I know. It's fucking with you a little bit.
He was joking there.
You may or may not be fucking with me, but you're proving the goddamn point every single time this happens. Point is, Mark is trying to calmly put forward some fucking evidence, and you won't let him out. You keep fighting him block by block by block. Stop fucking doing that. Let the man make his case.
Go ahead.
Right. I have been looking at this since it first became a thing weeks ago, or before the hashtag Pizzagate came out. I've watched hundreds of hours of videos, probably about 40, by simply looking at various social media platforms, then finding the videos, watching them, dismissing the obviously nonsensical stuff like we've discussed about Hillary Clinton being the head of a mass worldwide child trafficking paedophile ring. Obviously, in my mind, that's nonsense, the same as Obama being involved. However, as we keep saying, the original thing pointed to some other people and their social media accounts, and then links became apparent. Other things became a bit weird. The code was introduced, which made more sense of the emails, the links to the artists, the links to Abramovich, the links to connecting both Podesta brothers to this supposedly massively politically influential man who is only apparently the owner of a pizzeria, and yet he's regarded as the 49th most powerful man in American politics. So these are the questions that are being asked. Why these links don't make sense? It would appear that there is something wrong that needs proper investigation. And there's, in relation to the question I asked, no children at the time came forward to say they'd been abused by Jimmy Savile. Some older women came forward to say they'd been sexually assaulted by Jimmy Savile, but zero children came forward to say I've been raped, abused, or assaulted by Jimmy Savile. Sometimes it takes years or never when children grow up before they even make the accusations. This is very rare that children themselves make the accusations because they're children.
He was investigated in the 70s with respect to this. So who was he?
For sexual assault. For sexual assault, and it was adults that came forward, Rumpus.
Yeah, the stuff with the kids all began on the wiki page. It seems as all was 2012.
Yeah,
is when the police investigation started for all that.
There were many rumors and
but it was on kids though. The abuse cases on Jimmy Savile were with kids. Kids raised it, but everyone was like, "No, let's not talk about that."
No, kids didn't raise it. It was sexual assault that adults raised back in the 60s. There was lots of rumors.
No, but that's because
there were lots of rumors going around, and they were dismissed and said, "Look, Jimmy Savile is who he is. He's this high elevated superstar personality."
Yeah, but kids did raise things with their parents, and the parents actually did,
Right,
and
we
went
were-
to the cops,
yeah,
and the cops were just
okay.
like, "Don't be silly."
The question was asked whether the children came forward. Well, how many children have come forward? Why haven't children come forward in this case? Well, children don't often come forward in this instance. So what I'm saying is that the similar rumours were put about by Jimmy Savile for decades. They were largely ignored. It was hushed up.
No, but the kids do come forward. It's just that the parents
Can
and
I
their
finish?
guardians often don't believe them.
Please, can I finish?
Yeah. So, Mark,
So-
sorry to clarify, just clarify, but you're saying that there were no police investigations into child abuse by Jimmy Savile until 2000?
No, that's not what I said at all.
Okay, so that's what I'm just trying to clarify, because
I
you
said no actual children that had been in the process of being abused or just been abused. We did, in other words, I'll put it bluntly, a 5-year-old didn't turn up at the police station. Or
yeah, we know that
didn't.
you obviously wouldn't expect it, but I'm just saying, were there police investigations?
What I'm trying to establish is that in relation to things being just rumours, just circumstantial evidence, that went on for decades with Jimmy Savile. For the most,
Yeah, but hold on, but were they charges?
You can speak afterwards. If you don't want, if you want to interrupt me, I'll just be quiet.
I'm just trying to clarify what you're claiming.
Let me finish.
I'm not trying to stop you. I'm not trying to stop you.
Well, you are stopping by continually interrupting.
Well, it's just you've given me an answer that's confused me, and I think it might be confusing the listeners as well.
Then ask me afterwards.
Okay, carry on.
As I keep being told, because I do it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Carry on.
So, all these things, the argument seems to be now this isn't happening. It's all nonsense. These are people in high, they're elevated high up there. They're powerful, rich people, whatever. They couldn't possibly be involved. It's all nonsense. The same thing happened with Jimmy Savile. He would, because of who he was, what he did, and his status. A lot of the accusations were dismissed. A lot of the rumors were dismissed. It's Jimmy Savile. Couldn't possibly be him. Then he dies. Turns out all to be true. So all that supposition, all that circumstantial evidence, all those rumors that were not in the internet age then, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, were dismissed in a similar fashion. So that's the similarity.
Well, that's why. Hold on, can I make that clarifying point now? So, Mark, are you saying? And obviously, we don't expect a 5-year-old to walk into the police station. Then obviously, they go to the parents or their teacher and then get. But my question was: were there police investigations into child sex abuse by Jimmy Savile prior to the whenever it was 3 or 4 or 5 years?
Yes, basically.
Right, I thought there were. So it's irrelevant, Mark. You misrepresented that. We do not expect children to walk into police stations. They're going to go by their parents, their teachers, or something else. So whether or not if they went to their, you're saying basically because they went to their parents first, and their parents then made the accusation, and the police will use that. You somehow think would disregard that as an investigation to child sex abuse. It's ridiculous.
I didn't say that at all. I wasn't.
Well, that's what I'm trying to clarify. Okay, so I'll ask again. Were there police investigations into child sex abuse by Jimmy Savile prior to the time when it also blew up?
How many times do you want to ask that?
I'm looking.
No, I'm trying to get a question. I'm not trying to get an answer. I haven't. And Mark then says, "Oh no, but they didn't walk into police station." So he's deflecting.
No, not deflecting. What I'm saying was my original question was how many children came forward, not necessarily to police stations, before Jimmy Savile died. That was my original question. You've been changed.
That's why the BBC.
Yes, which they could go to their parents or teachers, and then that instigated a police.
You asked me to clarify, then won't let me finish. I don't know what else.
No, Rumpus is asking you a different question.
Exactly. Yeah. He's asking me a different question than the one I asked. He's changing my question.
No, he's asked the same question about 10 times now, and that is.
And I answered it.
And you said no, there weren't, and now we're saying in fact there were. You were using a special sort of investigation that was initiated by children walking to police station. I'm not interested in whether it was initiated by a child walking to police station, but whether the child then told someone who then went to the police.
There was investigations. Even the BBC admitted there was investigations into Jimmy Savile. They just got covered up, and that's the entire point why the BBC got bollocked about it, because they covered up as well.
We're talking past each other. I said that about children coming forward in relation to JD asking for where are the abused that have come forward in this instance in relation
to old people by now.
So I'm looking at the
don't go to Wikipedia.
Yeah, I'm going to that at the moment.
It's worth a try.
No, I said don't go to Wikipedia.
Well, I'm saying Wikipedia's worth trying. At least you get something.
Well, I mean, Wiki's okay, but if you want to know anything, you want to know why the BBC in deep shit about it is because the BBC were involved in the biggest cover-up because he was employed by the BBC. The complaints were made actually to the BBC Broadcasting Corporation.
There was not a conspiracy campaign by the BBC to cover it up. There were just people.
No, I'm not saying that. But the way celebrities.
Well, you said the BBC would cover it. That's just
hold on, guys. We were giving Mark lots of time to set out his position on Pizzagate rather than Savile. So if he still has more,
well, it's just that Mark made a claim about the Savile situation, and I'm
willing to let that slide just so we can continue.
Okay, well,
I've been told many times
that he was quite sure about that. He said he cited it to you, and he said as an example to you as to why children.
I get why we went on the tangent.
I think he's wrong about what he's claimed. His argument to you.
That's about Savile. That's about Savile, not about this.
Hang on, no, sorry, I can't get that go. What I was trying to get to, maybe I misspoke or just worded it wrongly, so I apologise for that.
Probably
what I was trying to say is that until Jimmy Savile died, none of those particular victims came forward at the time they were being abused in relation to the ones that we're talking about that were brought forward after he died.
I'm trying to find victims who came at the time.
Rumpus, let it go so we can continue his other thing, which I'm waiting for.
Well, the main point, as JD's pointing out, my main issue is that just because it's someone or people in an elevated, wealthy, rich position doesn't mean that they are automatically exempt or couldn't possibly be involved in such a thing as Pizzagate. And we learned that, my analogy was with the Savile thing, where the rumours and so there may have been some early reports.
Yeah, we do know Pizzagate's a hoax, right? Pizzagate is proven to be just a big fucking hoax.
It's not been proven to be a big hoax at all.
It's a YouTube meme. It literally is.
I agree with you, but we were giving Mark all the time in the world to go through his bit. So
I'm sorry.
I would suggest the only thing because obviously a hangout's not gonna. This isn't going to work where you've got one person trying to.
Yeah, Stai's going to shut up now.
It amazes me when someone interrupts to say I won't interrupt anymore.
Yeah. Right.
I think people need to go and do their own research and watch. I would suggest you just put hashtag Pizzagate into Twitter as a start, and you'll get all sorts of stuff there you can go through and to your heart's content over hours and hours, as I've done. You can go to you can't go to Reddit anymore because they've taken it down. Even Twitter are taking down some stuff and censoring it. You can go to Gab, which is similar to Twitter, but it's uncensored. Obviously, there's lots of stuff on YouTube. There are lots of links that I've got, 30 of those. I suggest that people do that rather than. I don't think Hangouts appears to be conducive to getting it across.
Stizer made a huge claim there and said it was just a meme, it was a joke, it's been proven wrong. So, can you back that up?
Actually, Mark, can I ask you a question? Do you think the fact that you're from the UK, where Jimmy Savile is from, might be...
No, Kane, no.
No,
I don't want to say clouding your judgment, but making you maybe a little more biased towards thinking...
No, because in 2013, there was a massive paedophile ring that was exposed in Canada, which involved high-ranking.
No connection to Podesta Elefantes. That doesn't help.
Say it did, JD. Again, you're attacking something I haven't said. You asked me a question. As soon as I start to answer,
the only reason to bring that up is if you're making that case, or you're just bringing up the point of the well. All right.
You asked whether my view has been coloured by the Savile thing, and I'm trying to explain why, and then you just jump on it straight away. Allow me a couple of minutes to explain why, if you want to know. If you don't want to know, then I won't bother to answer it. But I would say, in my opinion, my view is not coloured solely by Savile or the Elmgate guest house in the UK, because similar things are being uncovered in other countries, such as Canada in 2013, and only this week, another one in Norway, which involved high-ranking politicians and high-ranking people such as doctors, surgeons, etc., etc. So no, the answer is that my view is not coloured solely by Savile.
Yeah, it was just an example.
Solely.
Well, look at the Spotlight case for the Catholic Church. There's another huge example.
Well, the thing is, it starts off because of the primaries. I'm trying to tell Mark that the whole Pizzagate thing was perpetrated by a bunch of people who didn't like Hillary Clinton.
That's incorrect.
Well, actually, it's not incorrect because if you go and check the other stupid videos,
go and check what I said earlier.
No, listen. The same videos.
Hold on, Mark. All the time in the world, Mark. Really?
Just 1 second, Mark. The same videos were actually posted by the same people who posted that Podesta and the same guy. What's his name with the wiener? Wiener, that's his second name, right? I forgot his first name, but Wiener, right?
Anthony.
Anthony Wiener.
It wasn't the thing about.
Hold on, Mark. Hold on. Don't interrupt, dude. You said you don't like being interrupted. Just let me explain something. The same guys who posted them videos about the Pizzagate actually posted the same things about the McCann case. They said there's a paedophile ring, and they showed pictures of Mr. Wiener and Podesta as, look, there's proof of evidence because they look like the people in the mugshots. Like, seriously, they're the same people. You got to understand, the internet is weird, to say the least, especially on fucking YouTube. And if you think Pizzagate's a real thing, dude, wow. Just saying, you should listen to fucking Alex Jones.
All right, okay, I'll answer now. You're incorrect in stating that these videos and Pizzagate was a thing during the primaries. It wasn't. The whole thing only came about. The thing came about because someone sent John Podesta, who was Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, a phishing email, and they obtained the password to his email server from that phishing email that unfortunately he replied to. They then downloaded all of his emails, irrespective of what was in them, and sent them to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks then published them. It was at that point, after the WikiLeaks emails were published, that various people on various social media platforms disseminated those emails and started coming up with these links and mentioning the Pizzagate thing. So Pizzagate hasn't been a thing. When were the primaries? Months and months ago. The Pizzagate's only been a recent thing. It wasn't a thing back then.
But the election, okay, I misspoke. The election. This is not a big thing. It's what people want. It's the conspiracy theories nutcases who want to grab a hold of this. Look, Hillary lost, suck it up, and Donald Trump won. That's the end of all of it.
So Mark, what do you want us to do about it? I mean, like America, what do you want us to do about it?
I didn't say America. I as I said numerous times, at the risk of.
I know. I'm letting you repeat yourself because I'm making a different point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, for fuck's sake. Right. I'll try again. In my opinion, from what I've seen and the research I've done, and colleagues that I've spoken to, and friends I've spoken to that are in the same line of work that I am, I think there are at least 3, possibly up to 6 individuals that need looking at by the proper authorities in relation to the possibility that they may be up to no good in relation to paedophilic rings. That's my position.
Yeah. Well,
so you think there might be a child rape ring, and we should look into for that?
I think there's a possibility there may be a paedophile ring.
You think it's a strong enough possibility they should be investigated for possible child rape ring?
I said I think there's a possibility, and I think someone needs to look at it.
Yes.
Is this illegal in the US? JD, is it illegal in the US to hold photographs of paedophilic images on your computer?
Yep.
It is in the UK.
Oh, well, if it's actual children, well, yeah, it kind of. I mean, you're allowed having pictures of children.
Listen,
a lot of us have kids here. The rule comes when it's obviously like sexual in nature. Yes, child
or even just so. I mean,
artwork obviously not a big deal. And none of this artwork.
You can get arrested for talking.
You can get arrested, just for talking to like.
Pictures. The ones we saw that weren't actually linked to him but could be. Were obviously pretty dark. Like it was showing like the darker side, not like, I should jack off that.
So I mean, these people could just be circulating pornographic images of children, not necessarily actually engaged in the acts, for instance.
That's true. Although again, we have no evidence of.
Yeah, but the thing is,
indeed, I perfectly agree with you. Yeah, I'm just wondering where the legal, what they could be doing that's illegal that would merit investigation. Because if those other emails were suggesting there was some circulation, just photographs, for instance.
You don't have to do something illegal to be investigated. You could be investigated on suspicion of or arrested on suspicion of.
I don't think there's any reason to be suspicious.
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy with that.
There needs to be something in order for you to be arrested.
Well, look, we got look.
You have to have good grounds, a prima facie case.
Where this stuff started is also probably an issue. The fact that someone hacked him and then threw it up on WikiLeaks. And so here's the question: is the stuff that WikiLeaks is putting actually from Podesta?
Yeah,
we don't really have much of a chain of evidence here. People have said that everything WikiLeaks has presented. People have said, I've heard this said that WikiLeaks, everything they do is 100% legit. We don't know that though.
Well, the DNC shit's legit.
It's not like people that have been hacked are going to confirm it.
Yeah. I think the crux of it is that you have your view on it, on what you've seen. I have my view on it, on what I've seen. We disagree. That's fine.
Oh, no, well, yes, but I'm right.
It doesn't make you right and me wrong. It doesn't make me right and you wrong. That's all I'm saying.
Well, JD, we do have this evidence, this strange artwork, which most normal people wouldn't put up on their walls. So we at least have some sort of corroborating evidence.
Yeah, well,
too much concentration on one person or a group of people saying that what you're doing, we're right and you're wrong. But that's not what it's about. It's not about whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong. You can call me a conspiracy nutter all you like.
Well,
but
look, if someone said that was a fucking Pete, I'd be pretty pissed.
It doesn't
off.
change. That seems to be what's happening, is that we are discussing these things. I have my view. JD and others have a different view. It doesn't mean, I'm not saying JD is wrong and I'm right.
You're basically saying Hillary Clinton is a paedophile.
No, I'm not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. He didn't say that. For God's sake, get a grip on this conversation.
All right. Well, we got to separate. We have to separate what Mark is saying, other people that were saying, versus what, say, Preet and Rodney Maroney and others are saying. I've heard Preet is certain, as far as I can tell, that Barack Obama is a child rapist. Right. So, Mark definitely not going that far. Not even getting close.
No, he's not that retarded.
Very big difference between people like, all right, despite the conspiracy theories, I still think it might be worth investigating. And me, who's even further along, going, I don't even think it's worth investigating. There needs to be a lot more evidence for it, even worth investigating.
I'm with you.
So, concentrate on what Mark is saying, not what the rest of the world is saying.
It's like Mark is like me, Mark, and then Preet is over here somewhere.
To be honest, Rumpus, I don't know what Mark's trying to say. I can understand them saying.
I get what Mark is saying.
Well, at the moment, Mark is just saying there is ground suspicion that this Podesta chappie is doing something
nefarious,
possibly illegal. No, I don't think he said anything much more than that. I mean, there may be three or
not
six
just
people.
I'll repeat it again. I am not saying that Hillary Clinton is a paedophile or is murdering children.
We know you're not saying that.
I'm not saying Obama's doing it. I'm not even saying that the Podestas and James Alefantis and 2 or 3 others are doing it. What I'm saying is, from what I've seen, I have formed an opinion that these individuals are possibly up to no good and need further investigation. That's it.
Well, possibly. You think it's likely enough to warrant investigation? I mean, this is the difference between you and me. I think it's not. There's not. I think it's unlikely.
In all honesty, there may already be an investigation. We just don't know about it.
The police don't deal with that. If there's
well, police have to look into it if they get an accusation.
But they don't. Yeah, but they don't go on that premise that it's likely. They look at the circumstantial evidence initially, and then you can be arrested on suspicion of committing a crime, and then they carry out a detailed investigation to prove whether that is the case or not.
Okay, Mark, can I ask you a question?
Okay, hold on, one sec.
No, I want to ask Mark, do you think there's sufficient evidence in order to warrant an investigation?
Yes, he does. He said that 1,000 times.
Oh, you can get a police officer that pulls over a car, and it's got 3 bags of heroin in it on the back seat, and the guy's smoking dope, and another guy's got a small bag of cocaine. Those guys can be arrested on suspicion of intent to supply. Doesn't make them drug dealers. It doesn't mean they're guilty of anything else, but the police can arrest you on suspicion of that.
Okay, I see where you're going.
Then they carry out further investigations. So all they've got, the police at that point, is circumstantial evidence. 3 or 4 individuals, some of which have more than. Hang on,
being arrested and prosecuted.
May have more drugs on them. Some of which may have more drugs on them than could be classed as for personal use. So the police
there's a difference between being arrested and prosecuted. There's also a difference between being investigated and arrested. And the only thing that is being suggested here is an investigation. Nobody's suggesting that Podesta needs to be arrested, or that this pizza guy needs to be arrested. There needs to be further examination on this. People have access to more resources than people dicking around on the internet.
All right. Well, if you guys want, Mark spoke for quite a bit. Can I now have a couple minutes to just? All right. So I'm kind of glad we had this talk because I actually thought a lot worse of Mark and his position until now. I think I was biased because you initially came forward kind of in defense of what Preet was putting up. And so I assume you don't need to defend it because I'm gonna say what you're thinking. I figured that you were in the same boat as her or close to it. It turns out you're definitely not, which is good because she's gone complete batshit.
Yeah, my position.
You, on the other hand, are definitely way more nuanced and are not that far from where I am. I think there's not enough. You think there's just enough. And that's fine. She thinks we should be throwing them in jail and flogging them for raping children. You're nowhere near that.
Yeah,
so this is good. So I'm glad we. Well, 2 minutes, remember?
Sorry.
So I'm glad we had this talk. I Yeah, I had lost respect for you when I misunderstood where you're going. Now it's back. Yay, Google Mark. Just want to throw it out there, like, hey, Mark's back.
Well, I'm so glad I've now got JD's mark of approval again.
It's so important, right? I mean, because I have like
didn't
a
quite
show.
say that.
Oh no, I'm outright saying it. You have my approval. I will be sending you a #1 of JD's sticker in the mail.
Just remember, Mark is English, like me and Rumpus.
More
so we do have a
importantly,
way of explaining ourselves, which is
you have improved my opinion of the UK by a little bit too, and so that's important for the UK when passing legislation. Know that they have my approval now.
Well, that's I mean, what Mark was saying, I wouldn't disagree with in the way he puts it, but I was confused on the whole interpretation. I mean, the Pizzagate thing to me is bullshit.
That's part of the discussion.
Stuff like that, though, it's better to be safe than sorry, because there was another case.
That's not necessarily true.
Well, there was another.
Well,
just let me give you this example. In the UK, something similar happened with a group of, I guess, well, I don't want to say they were Muslims, but they were of Middle Eastern origin, right?
Muslims. They were Muslims.
They weren't.
Yes. You can't say it, dude.
You can say
whatever, but they weren't.
Very definitely happened.
For fear of
outrageous.
seeming racist or something like that.
Fuck that shit. Just
but then it turns out that they were a pedophile. And people didn't want to investigate because they didn't want to seem racist against these people, this, that, and the other. So sometimes it's better to look into people if you think that there is. You don't have to formally do it. You can get a private investigator. You can get, you can hire people like that. You don't have to get the law involved. But if somebody's doing strange shit in your community and you think that they're worth looking into them. There's nothing wrong with
films in the UK. One of which
I do want to. One second before you get off
there's a point to be made.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying there's a point we made where you said it's better to be safe than sorry. But what point is there where like you should respect my freedom and integrity just because there's someone that's made an accusation against me? Why does that give you the right to breach my privacy and look into my emails and personal information and things like that? I'm not saying that there isn't or is enough evidence. I'm just saying that there definitely is a line where you require enough to resort in an investigation.
That will be it. This might be unprosecutable because of that. It might be impossible. Even if someone comes forward, he might get off on the technicality because of how the investigation was started off from emails stolen from someone.
Well, to be fair,
which if he is a rapist is unfortunate.
Well, Simon, if your neighbour goes to the police and says, well, my mate Simon next door, this bloke Simon, I think he smokes dope, and I think he makes a lot of noise some weekends. It's noisy. It's unlikely that the police are going to come and kick your door in or take your computer away to see whether you've got any references to you smoking dope. However, if your neighbour...
how we handle our drug laws.
Yeah, but if your neighbour goes to the police and says, that Simon bloke, I think he's got some stuff on his computer relating to child pornography, and he's been seen in the park with you, then possibly you might get... there are ways and means of doing it, of course, because what the police will do is more than likely knock your door and say, we've had a complaint about noise from the neighbours, and do you mind if we have a look around, or do you mind if they'll come in?
The guy's smart, he'll say no.
Yeah, and they'll see the police. I mean, when I've done work, sometimes we used to, going back to a minor case in relation to, there was a suspicion that someone was a fraud. Well, it was a fraud case, and the person wasn't supposed to be living at the address. So you simply do something like, can I use your toilet? You go upstairs, you look in the bathroom and see like 2 toothbrushes, a blue one and a pink one, let's for argument's sake, and you'll see signs that there is a man living there at that time. So that gives you an indication, a bit more circumstantial evidence that would disprove the idea that Mr. So-and-so no longer lives there. There are ways and means.
The police used to use BT vans back in the day, remember that?
Well, but before I said, Mark, were you with the police? Was that like one of your job?
No, I'm not with
He's not allowed to say. But, that was his hesitation. He's not allowed to say.
Worse, MI6. Oh shit.
I did run a private detective agency for a number of years with my father and my brother. My father is an ex-serious crime squad officer. Here, one of the other guys that worked with us.
Special branch.
He's now a private investigator.
Did he know Luther? I hear he's a cop out there.
He's now working in California, and he has links to the FBI. That's a very good friend of my father's.
More importantly, does he know Luther?
Shut up.
Not real. He's not real.
What about Sherlock? I hear Sherlock's from there. They know him.
Sherlock's real. Fuck you. Sherlock Holmes is real. I don't care. When I think of like the
house
fucking the Met, I just think of someone like Sherlock Holmes. Hopefully.
What about those guys from Spooks? I hear they're real and they're from England. I'm an American. I don't know shit.
We got the best cops ever, man.
Well,
the reason why we got the best cops is we got so many fucking cameras.
Yeah, but your cops aren't armed. Which
they don't need
some of them are.
That's because we've eliminated all the criminals with guns. We don't let our criminals have guns, you see. That sorts that out.
No, there's a wonderful joke from Rob Williams. He says, if you don't have a gun, this is like, stop, or I'll say stop again.
Well,
yeah,
most cities in the
that's true.
Most cities in the UK have armed response vehicles.
I will say this: our armed response are way trained. I just remember watching two terrorists, the guy who chopped off Lee Rigby's head, and seeing two terrorists who are now in jail get shot 7 times and stopped. And I just look at American cops and you plow 10 bullets into one guy with a fucking knife, and it's just like, can't you train them to like shoot them in the legs or something?
I'm gonna segue.
I'm proud of my cops, but I still don't like cops.
When my father joined the police force, the worst they had was basically a lump of wood shaped into a rounded baton called a truncheon and a whistle. That's all they had. Bit of wood and a whistle. And if the bloke ran away, you'd say, "Oi, oi," and blow your whistle to attract the attention of other bobbies that might happen to be on the beat nearby. And hopefully you'd all converge on the bad guy who had to be dressed in a stripy shirt and with a mask and a bag over his shoulder. But yeah, that's all they had was a truncheon and a whistle.
Have you seen? I'm segueing into fiction. Have you seen the TV series Luther, or any bits of it? Heard of it?
Yeah, the black guy who's supposed to be the new next James Bond, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He's pretty cool. Anyway, as an American, I always was chuckling at the show because being TV, he would constantly run to people in the UK who were armed with weapons, with guns. And he'd like chase after a guy. The guy turned like, "I have a shotgun. You remember the shotgun? You should probably stop chasing me." He would always chase him and then come like, "Now that I've caught up, I'll talk to you because you could shoot me and I can't do anything."
Yeah, well, the
nearest series to True Life, my father always told me would have been a British series called The Sweeney. My dad always said that was the closest to actual policing that he
I know. Luther, like I said, if reality in the UK was like Luther, you would have guns again, because in the show, like half of the people he ends up dealing with.
You know what the funny thing is, right? I appreciate Americans have guns and that's your culture, but I think in England, cops seriously do deal with violence, but we just have utensils like knives and shit. So cops have to deal with that stuff. If there's a guy wielding a knife, it's like,
well, it's important in America to have a gun, especially if you're.
No, I know. I'm not saying.
No, there's an important issue here because you never know if some black guy's going to run a stoplight and you're going to need to shoot him 20 times.
Fuck off.
You need to worry about that happening in America because we.
No, apart from the jokes, JD, apart from the jokes, I'm just saying I understand America's culture, but in the UK it's different. In fact, in Europe it's a bit different, even though some European countries do have guns.
No, America is uniquely bad, and we don't have to understand it. We have to understand it's cultural indoctrination, and they've made us a problem for themselves. They need to fix it.
Well, what's the problem? Hold on, let's talk guns. Rumpus, what's our problem? What do you think?
Your problem is you've got 300 million guns in the country, and what's more, they're not just rifles and shotguns, they're handguns. Handguns which are just designed to shoot other people. And if you could eliminate all of those handguns from the US, or at least take them so you weren't allowed to take them out of your house, suddenly, instead of having 30,000 people killed by guns per year, which is vastly but greater than the UK or in Germany or anywhere else in Europe, and even twice as bad as most developing countries, though not as bad as I think it was Costa Rica or Somalia, but it's on that sort of scale. You have got a jungle of people running around shooting other people and this is why your police behave so badly. They're used to a gun culture, and it's like a jungle where
most of them are suicides. I want to be clear. I'm looking at
not most of them. A significant proportion are, but like there's 30,000 per year.
Suicides. Well, yeah, 30,000. 2/3 of those are suicides. So we got 10,000 people getting shot.
When I looked last, there were 1/3 suicides.
Well, this one is the other way. It's 2/3. It's 11.
I've looked at lots of figures, and I've never ever seen one that said most of them are suicides.
Okay, well here, this is. All I did was go to the wiki, so It's wiki news. It's wiki evidence, so take it as leave. But hold on, 11,000 homicides, 21,000 suicides, and then there's some accidental negligence, which is much like less than 1,000.
Even if
it obviously sucks. However, I mean, I think it's something that Canadians have tons of guns too.
No, but I think the thing with Americans is the whole Second Amendment thing.
I don't think they're allowed to run around with handguns.
No, we don't. We're not allowed to carry weapons. You're barely allowed to carry a knife.
Yeah.
In Canada?
Canada's like the UK.
We're not allowed to
a bit more stoned.
When I go to like the archery range, my bow has to be completely taken apart. My arrows have to be in a bag.
Like, I was understanding that Canadians own tons and tons of guns. Was I misinformed?
They do own quite a lot. They're not allowed to carry them around.
A lot of us.
Let's let Joseph answer. He's Canadian.
Yeah, a lot of us own guns for hunting, right? So there's a lot of rifles, but you can't go and buy like a handgun. Like you have to get a permit.
Handguns are the problem.
Yeah, and it has to be.
I agree completely. If I could get rid of all handguns, that would be the first thing I'd do. I think hunting rifles for hunters is fine. Home protection, no, not so much.
Yeah. So there's the problem.
People who think it's necessary are usually wrong.
So what?
I mean, if I could click my fingers and remove all the handguns from America, suddenly your place would become less violent. What's more, the police then wouldn't really be prepared to shoot people because they think they've got a gun, and the whole level of violence and bad police behavior and society that's not functioning would all decrease.
I feel sorry for the cops. I honestly don't feel sorry for the cops in the United States. Like, I know some of them are a bit retarded. But the vast majority, I feel sorry for them because they're like, how do you know what situation you're going to if you know that every psycho has a fucking gun? Like, I'd be shitting myself. I'd be shooting people before they even thought about shooting me. I feel sorry for American cops. I really do.
That's why you have to put your hands on the dashboard and you have to lie on the ground before they'll even approach you, and then they have to handcuff you before they'll even touch you.
Oh, no, hold on. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It fucking is, dude. Have you seen some of the fucking people being shot?
Lives in America. I got a little bit.
You're not fucking black. You're white. You're okay. Nobody.
Yes, I know, but again, I get
suburbanite.
There it is.
It's an issue.
You're a suburbanite. Who the fuck wants to arrest you? Seriously.
All right, well, hold on.
You don't even see police officers where you live.
All right. Oh no, there's plenty. They're protecting me from all those horrible black people coming to murder me. No, but seriously though, I think one of the issues. I mean, yes, there's an issue of I wouldn't call it racism, but profiling. You see someone black, and you're like, okay, I need to be much more.
I'd be shit scared of everybody. I wouldn't care what they look like. I'd just be scared.
There are plenty of cops, black and white cops, just cops, who are more scared, like significantly more worried when they see black, especially black use, and you throw them into a gang neighborhood. Now they're on high alert the minute they get anywhere near it, because people shoot at cop cars. It can be pretty bad in these bad.
What did you see that the biggest thing?
Hold on, what's that?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought you'd finished. My bad.
I did, fucker. I ain't Fiona. I don't pause for 20 minutes. Come on.
Sorry. All right, go on. I apologize.
Love you, Fiona, if you're watching.
Well, now
but she does pause. She does pause for a good 20 minutes. You're like, you interrupted me. I'm like, you stopped for a long time.
Go on.
Okay, so,
go on.
One of the issues is that, so obviously the cops being higher on alert and more prone to just freaking out and getting shots off. Another thing is that blue in a lot of these neighborhoods, whether you're black or white, you don't like cops. It's prevalent. If you see a cop, you treat him like shit. You badmouth him. You're like, fuck you, I ain't gonna do the shit you want. And that's usually when things escalate. Usually they don't escalate to shooting, they'll escalate to tasing or something else or being taken in. But if we could get everyone, black or white, when the police come and go, hello, officer, what seems to be the problem? And just be polite as you have to be, you will probably live to see another day. It's that if you've probably seen some of these things, they're like trying to grab the guy's taser, or they're like trying to push him or shove him or getting out and screaming at him, or like, I ain't gonna fucking do that. I know my rights, even though they're getting their rights completely wrong, standoffish. And that's when things tend to escalate. And I wish they just cut that out. So it's obviously, like other things, it's a complicated issue. It's not all just that, cops don't just love shooting black people here or anything.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say the whole rise of shooting black people, I think that's because of the social media aspect. And
there's a recent one where a black cop shot a black man and people still have arms.
To be fair, I think it's always been the same. I think,
cops shoot criminals. Just watch like police videos of like those TV shows. They shoot anybody.
Cops.
Yeah,
like literally that TV show, Cops, Bad Boys, Bad Boys.
World's Wildest Police videos.
Yeah.
And shit like
There's actually very few actual shootings, though. When it comes down to it, the thing is you have to take in terms of 300,000 or so in America. For a very large, we have a pretty large country compared to a lot. Like,
well, actually, for the size of the United States per capita, considering how many guns you've got, you are pretty stable, which is quite surprising. I mean, you guys get a lot of shit. I think you guys get a lot of shit because of your media, actually.
The media. If you take the biggest issues, the stuff is almost romanticized.
If you take knife crime versus the United States, we're more adept at killing people with knives than you guys are, apparently.
Well, what's the recent that's hitting the news?
Per capita.
Actually, I think it's actually like, police shootings have now. I mean, the media is basically like, we can sell this. It's mostly infotainment. Like, we can sell this, so it doesn't matter whether it's in like some known drug dealer trying to shoot a cop in Bumblefuck, Missouri. You still get a huge newspaper ad talking about how there's these huge rallies about it, because instead of just being this local thing where like, we knew the guy, he was a piece of shit, we're glad they shot him, he tried to kill my brother. Instead, now is this news thing like, black guy, white cop, murder in America, big giant 60 Minutes.
Yeah, and
now people who have no idea what's going on are just like,
no, because that's the way you're making.
If someone shoots a black guy, it's against blacks, and so people hit the streets when they really shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, they should.
I would protest anything.
They should hit the streets, but I don't think they should hit the streets just because it's a black thing. I think they should hit the streets because hold on, JD. I think they should hit the streets because your police are so badly trained. And
actually, our police are pretty damn good.
No, they're actually the shittest trained cops I've ever come across. If you put a European cop next to a fucking American cop, you guys are badly trained. And that's just my opinion.
Well, here's the thing: is you remember again, you have to think of the scope of America. You have to think of it from the point of view of individual states rather than the country as a whole. There are places where your cops are badass, and then there's Bumblefuck, Missouri, where it's like, yo, you ain't from around here. So you really have to.
Yeah, but what fucker would go around there anyway? In
many aspects in the public sector in America, is even the fire service as well. They've got more like fatalities than any other European country. Their firefighters have run into buildings and die.
We're brave.
Trained, but they're brave.
Stupid not brave. Like, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, they've got like the highest firefighter fatality rate.
That's wild.
Yeah.
America's a nice place, but the people who live there are below IQ levels of the most of the planet.
Well, I saw
That's
this.
actually not true. Actually,
they try and shoot the fire out.
I actually got to leave in relatively, so I got a funeral to go to. Nothing important. But,
I thought you said the funeral.
I accidentally shot someone.
Yeah, my great aunt of 98 died, who I honestly haven't seen her in years, but I'm just kind of going because you.
Well, she's dead. I guess you're gonna.
Shot by police.
Hey, dude. She looked. It was dark. That walker looks a lot like a machine gun.
Right. She was shot one nigger out the lowrider, and they shot her by mistake. I was robbed by a nigger, and they just shot her. I was going to crack a joke earlier
when Joseph was mentioning Muslims. Like, no, the correct term is sand niggers.
Right.
All heads is okay.
Sorry, I forgot. That's my bad.
It's sand niggers.
Or towel heads will work. Those dumb brown bastards from Iraq, that's also good.
Donald Trump voter 101.
Stick with the racist terminology. All right. Where was
Go
I?
on.
Lost the train. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You say about the low IQ people in America. It turns out we're pretty smart motherfuckers, and I'll explain why. This is the people take the whole, and this is probably not politically correct, but it's not necessarily my position. It's my uncle's, who's
just say it anyway.
Brilliant Wall Street guy who studies the shit out of stuff. He says, I was telling him, I said, people in America, like, our scores are crap. He says, actually, if you take it by race, we're beating everybody else. He says, if you take our black people versus black people in Africa, we're kicking their ass in most scores. If you take just our white people against white people in Europe, we're kicking their ass in scores. If you take our Asian people versus Asians in China, Japan, we're kicking their ass. Now, I have to double check this, but he is not a guy who
that's just called being a fucking arrogant American, because that doesn't
go. No, he's an arrogant motherfucker, but the thing is, he does his homework. He is a guy who
he clearly
hold on, let me close. You guys don't know my uncle. He's a dick, but he's a brilliant dick. He's a brilliant.
He's probably a nice guy, but he's still a complete.
He was on. I'm just give you a little tidbit story, a little nothing.
I don't
he
want
was on the Board of Education in like this lily white neighborhood that he lived in, and they hated him because they would want to disagree with him, but he would come with his big old folder and he'd run through numbers. He's a math guy, and they'd be like, "I want to say you're wrong, but fuck, you actually presented. I have no evidence to present against this." So. I take it on faith actually that he's writing this.
Well, I never knew you was the religious.
So because I'm white living here and you're white living elsewhere, I'm smarter than you. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, you know. I know you like the whole idea of
tell me your IQ so I can tell you mine's 3 points higher.
Yeah, but I'm not white, so that wouldn't make any sense anyway. I know I look white, but I'm not white, JD.
You look a bit Asian to me.
You know what? I'm a human. I'm a human. I'm mixed of whatever, but no, I'm not white. I mean, the thing is, right? The whole, if we judge other people by other people's standards, well, then you could say, well, the Russian white people are smarter than the average white people in America.
You go back 80,000 years, everyone's black. That's not long. It's really it's really cool when you think about it. That's it. 80,000 years is all it took for this.
Well, that's the thing, right, JD? We're all the same species, right? And this is why I don't like the whole race thing anyway. I don't like that shit, JD, actually. I mean, I can understand demographics, right? I can understand demographics. I think statistically, you can account for education and IQ if you're talking about demographics, because I think that's fair, right? I can see that. But when we're talking about a race, like, you know,
a little bit.
White people, it's like, well, you got to be Hitlerish. You know, it's like,
well, there's a slight disagreement.
There's a little bit of disagreement there.
Yeah, slight disagreement, and that is, well, in America, makes us sound like shit, but we were. During the slave trade, black people, you know, slaves who were smart were not what we, not what we selected for. We would want the people who were stronger, better in the field, and so that might be one of the reasons why there's a stereotype that black people are better at sports. In a sense, during slavery, we bred them to be that way.
Yeah,
so in that case, race, that's not demographic. This is still talking about race then.
No, so that's true. No, but I would agree in the sense of breeding, right? Like you breed dogs and shit. Well, if you think about it.
How else do you get a race other than, like, you know, separate breeding? That's how you get the Chinese.
The only reason why I don't like the word race, and I'll be honest with you, I don't like the word race, is because the connotative meaning of it is inadequate in these days. I like the word culture. It's a bit more, you know, apt to that. I would say what you would say, though, would be correct. I wouldn't disagree with that. You know, the way we breed people and shit in regards to a concentration of, I wouldn't say genes, what environment. Yeah, you know, that kind of stuff. Well, you could say that. You know, I think
there's a lot more to do with genes and environment. There's not.
Well, both go 10 and 10. Right? Your environment can make you mutations, and your mutations can also do other weird shit, regardless of your environment.
I've got to go.
It's kind of 50-50 there, but I agree with JD.
All right, before I go, I have one unrelated question. How many people have seen theoretical bullshit talk to enter Bert's bubble?
Who?
Theoretical bullshit. Scott Clifton.
I know. I love Bert, but I don't watch his interviews with some people. They just
Scott Clifton is always great to listen to, and I think Bert is too. So there it is in the side chat. I have not seen it yet, but I expect wonderful things.
No, Bert is
no down votes. So that's how much people like Bert. No down votes.
No, Bert is one of
the
most coolest guys, because I know Bert because we share the same passion, which is 3D art. And Bert works for, obviously, you know, a big giant company. I won't say. I thought you were going to say big ass pornography, but okay, we'll go. or that, I don't know.
Drawing dicks.
There's a reason why he's always smiling.
No, but Bert is he's a 3D hack that I am interested in. He works
at DreamWorks. He's badass.
Yeah, and that's kind of my that's my thing.
They got pictures of him with famous people. I get a kick out of that.
I just love the fact they worked on Kung Fu Panda, man. That's.
And also, this lets you know just how much of a shit Trey Jadlow is, and that he's the only person who's really gotten a rise out of Bert.
Really?
So yeah. Oh, you see, he gets upset when talking to Trey because Trey
is that link that you just posted or
Trey,
something?
No. This is him talking to Scott Clifton. But in his conversation, you can see him getting angry and frustrated because Trey's whole personality, persona online is designed to make you angry with him. It really is. I mean, the condescending way he says, I like you. You're really a great person. You're really sweet. I like you.
But
you're just fucking me, you piece of shit. And it's hard not. I mean, you at some point you're like, you know what? I can't help it. I'm annoyed. I'm really upset with this guy because let's face it, he's put an awful lot of effort into it.
I like Beth though. I do like him.
I like Trey, but in like the evil way.
No, but yeah.
Okay, I gotta get off here, guys. Great conversation. Mark, you still there?
Hope so.
Did Mark might have ran off?
Anyway, he said actually be right back. Sorry.
Okay, well that's fine. If you guys want to realize, as little as he should care about my opinion of him, it's definitely way better than it was yesterday. Not like I said, doesn't actually matter unless he actually cares what I think, and he has no reason to. So there's the honest opinion apart from my fucking round earlier. So I'm glad Pizzagate has not been picked up by like the second community. It's like, yeah, pizza, murder him. No, it's more like, okay, maybe there's been some wrongdoing. I'm actually fine with that. I just disagree, but it's not that big a disagreement as I thought it was.
I think you missed Mark's main point at the start.
Putting a wedge between me and Mark, we were bros.
Well, Mark at the very start. Mark at the very start said, well, at the very least, he thinks that this guy's got some strange hobbies. He didn't come out and say, well, he's a paedophile. There's a paedophile ring. He's molesting these kids.
Well, he didn't say that, but he was saying the evidence he's seen would
merit an investigation.
An investigation. Yeah, but the same guy, Podesta, if you go to the ultra weirdos on the internet, the same guys say he believes in aliens. I mean, I'm just saying, you got to understand the internet is a fucking weird place where people come with crazy fucking ideas because they link shit that's got probably nothing to do with anything and just go, this is the way it is. Alex Jones is one of the most successful YouTubers. Do you know why he is? Because he mixes truth with fiction. If you want to make a YouTube channel, lie to people and throw in some tidbits of truth. And you can make a very successful YouTube. Because people are so retarded these days. Bob once said, these days, they've always been retarded. It's just that now they've got the capability of sharing their retardedness with everybody else. Like flat earth. I mean, when I first started YouTube and all that shit, I never met anybody who believed the world was flat. And now it's a thing. Like a fucking meme. Like seriously. So you got to be very careful with these people, like Alex Jones and these videos of like Pizzagate. It only started because of Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, even in the fucking in the election anyway. Like, did anybody think of Pizzagate before this? No. And what's the reason? Well, it's Wikipedia. And Wikipedia said a lot of shit. Nobody gave a fuck anyway. So.
Well, this is the point I sort of came in, because Nevyn came in talking about it, and I thought she was joking at first, right? Even the name sounds humorous. And they're like, all right, Pizzagate. I guess that's some sort of stupid thing. Then I went down. Maybe it's some group of people trying to influence the political cycle by associating Hillary Clinton with pedophiles and all the rest of that nonsense.
That's the entire point. It started from the people who wanted to discredit Hillary Clinton.
Just because something was discovered in an investigation into a political adversary to make them look discrediting, and by picking into the depths of what they don't want to be seen, you might find something, And when they were coming up with, not so much the Pizzagate, but not so much the artwork, because I understand people have got weird fascinations with art. I'm not one to judge what you think art might be. I'm not like
statues with fucking penises.
Yeah, there's just whatever floats your boat. But when it was coming into like the emails and things like that, and I'm like, well, can these emails be actually credited to this person? Are they legitimate emails? And apparently so. I've not seen any pure evidence to suggest that they're legitimate or not. Then when it came to like a video of someone hacking into their computer via an app, and it was showing which seemed like very unusual pricing for. Mark can explain it a lot better than myself, but.
Also, what I say is, don't believe everything you see on the phone.
No, definitely. I'm a very skeptical guy. You know, but it's just.
Well,
it's
you
like,
believe in God. You should be skeptical.
I'm not. I don't believe in God.
Cough, cough. That's what I said. Cough,
but yeah, but yeah. There's just all. Not one piece of this leaves it to like, oh yeah, that's just something this guy stupidly posted on his Instagram. You know, like why? I don't know why he would do that.
No, you gotta understand, right? If the reason for anything to be on YouTube is money. You got all the internet for most part is money. People have found out that there's this weird thing called like messiahism. That's what I call it right now, messiahism. Where if you have a Google Plus or whatever the fuck you want to call it, a YouTube channel, people will follow you because they're that gullible. I could make a webpage selling crystals, rub your fucking ass tits on my crystals, and you will be fucking, you know, an extraterrestrial. I listened to some shit yesterday. This is not a joke. Where some guy was talking about fucking aliens, and an alien war in space between the Greys and the Reptilians. And the guy, I checked this webpage, the guy's got thousands and thousands of followers. Do you know what he's got on his webpage? A subscription. Do you know how much this fucking idiot makes of gullible cunts who literally think what they listen to on YouTube's actually real? It's a money-making scam. And it's clickbait as well. So if I put up a ridiculous video right now, I could make just one saying, I've just read WikiLeaks, breaking news. I only have to put that as my topic. I can say breaking news, Hillary is a fucking demon or some stupid shit. I will get 25,000 views. And there goes my fucking YouTube channel. Right there. Because that's how stupid people fucking are. Not objective anymore. They're just sad little cunts who sit there on the internet thinking, I wish I had a better life. And there's more to life than being a sad pot. That's all. These people want more than just what's offered to them. So they find any nefarious bullshit to find.
Well, yeah, I understand. There's a lot of nefarious bullshit to it. There's a lot of shite to the level of, oh, there's a picture of Barack Obama with his niece on his knee, and it must be a paedophile. You know, like okay,
Michelle Obama's a man. It's like,
yeah, like but just because there's a lot of bullshit doesn't mean you can't sieve through the bullshit and find scruples of fucking.
But the thing is, you shouldn't need to sift through. You should be going to stuff that actually makes sense. Like I would never sift through any of that shit because it's shit. Like why would I entertain Pizzagate when I know it's complete bullshit in the first place? It is bullshit. Yeah. Anybody who entertains Pizzagate is a fucking retard. I'm sorry to inform you, but you're just fucking on. The same videos that were put out by the same people are the same people who said they're a paedophile ring in the United Kingdom.
Wrong.
I'm pretty sure Scotland Yard would be fucking investigating that shit, but they're not anymore.
Investigating what?
Remember that kid who went missing in Spain? What was her name? That little kid? And the parents were from Liverpool. What was her name?
Madeleine McCann?
Yeah, Madeleine McCann. The same people who put out the same videos on Pizzagate put out the same video saying that they are the same paedophile ring. And they literally I'm not joking, dude. I've fucking seen the videos. They put out. Hold on.
Yeah, I've seen what you're talking about today.
Yeah, they put out a picture.
What they've actually put out is because there is a WikiLeaks email where John Podesta says that he and his brother stayed at their friend Clem's house in Praia de Luis, which is exactly the same resort as the McCanns were in, and they were there at the same time. Clem is Clement Freud, who is the well-known paedophile in the UK. So people have put two and two together and suggested that they must have been the perpetrators that snatched Madeleine McCann because their photographs match the e-fits or something. So
that's exactly what they said. Look, this is the guy's face, and they snatched her from the house. That's what they said.
Well, they do match.
In your right mind, do you think that's actually true?
Their pictures do match the e-fits, but there's no evidence that. I mean, I think Madeleine McCann was dead anyway. I don't think she was.
Well, conspiracy theories run amok. She was never taken. The parents killed her and all that shit. I mean, you can believe whatever conspiracy theory you want.
A cadaver dog and a blood sniffing dog that have never been wrong ever, who found traces of dead bodies and blood in the apartment and the car they hired later on.
Exactly right, but no, that's a conspiracy theory. I mean, the whole point of this Pizzagate shit is to just make Hillary.
It's not the same people doing it. I mean, that's all I was saying. It's not the same people saying it. It's different people. There are.
No, it's the same. It's the same people who issue the videos. Seriously, dude, I'm not kidding. You get the same people who issue the same aliens videos, the same people who did the whole Podesta shit.
Are you saying exactly the same people?
Yeah, it's the same people who want to make money, because if you realize that YouTube is like literally clickbait, then you'd be surprised. The same people do the exact same thing with aliens. First of all, they were saying John Podesta's going to save us from aliens because he works for the Clinton, and then you got Alex Jones saying, well, you know, Trump is the savior because he isn't. It's all complete shit. All you want you to do is click their shit and buy their crap that they advertise. It's just clickbait. I mean, shit, when do people want to wake up? I mean, do your own actual fucking investigations into actual real shit, and you'll find that it's just clickbait. It's nothing.
But you wouldn't need to do investigations into stuff if you already knew it was real, but I get what you're saying.
No, it's not what's real, dude. When I listen to shit on the BBC, and I have, like, I don't know, other radio stations open and other news stations, then you can cross-reference stations, right? And then you can go, well, what is the actual story? That's different than going, well, I found it on Wikipedia and fucking YouTube, so therefore it's true. I mean, that's fucking retarded.
Oh, no, I know, but the BBC use a lot of syndication, and the Americans are even more guilty of it, where you can see the same story word for word on numerous American television stations.
Yeah, well, dude, I've watched the BBC.
It's syndicated and scripted, and the same stories passed around word for word, so you can't really... I wouldn't trust the BBC as far as I could shit them. Anyway.
I don't throw them. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, because I've literally witnessed them. In fact, it's kind of ironic. It wasn't just me. When Israel was bombing the fuck out of Gaza, and it was all over the news, every other TV station was calling it some fucking pillar of cloud or some shit. I forgot the actual. There was two definitions. One was pillar of cloud. The other one was something fucking else. And every other fucking news network was saying, this is what Israelis are calling the attack on Palestine, or whatever the fuck it was. And the BBC called it something completely different. And I watched the BBC and I was like, why is that? And I literally rung them on whatever the fucking program is that you complain.
I mean, obviously, you're probably not old enough to remember. But
no, hold on. I just want to finish. And then I literally watched the complaint show on the BBC, Have Your Say, whatever the fuck it's called. And a lot of people rang up for the same thing. And the justification was, and this is no lie, Mark, the justification was, we didn't want to come across as anti-Semitic. That was literally the justification for why they had a different fucking reason for not calling it pillar of cloud or whatever the fuck it was. Because we didn't want to come across as anti-Semitic. When every other news network just basically said, yeah, this is what it's called. But because it had religious connotations to it, oh no, we're not allowed to say that shit because, you know, anti-Semitism and shit.
So I know the BBC put an article up on their website a little while ago related to Brexit, where it said that government's secret exposed about what they're going to do, and then not more than an hour later, that article on their website had changed to government denies XYZ. So they just made it up, not made it up. They just gave it a certain spin. And then once they were obviously corrected, it was supposedly a leaked document that just turned out to have been something that an unpaid consultant had written. And they took that as the government gospel and printed it as such. And then were told, actually, no one even knows who did it. It was anonymous and it's not actual. And so they retracted it. Same as the Guardian one recently. the Guardian story that a few people posted, which is rather hilarious. I won't mention any names, Alex Bottom, but mentioned this Guardian.
I hate that guy, so I don't care.
Where it was the article in the Guardian where someone said, I was almost an alt-right racist and I got involved in this group, and then
it
turned out to be a completely fake news story that someone wrote under a pseudonym, gave it to the Guardian, who printed it as actual, and then the guy came out on Twitter and said, actually, I wrote it, and it was a load of bullshit, I made it up.
Yeah, that was the Sam Harris. That was the Sam Harris article in the Guardian, actually.
This is like a couple of days ago.
That's the Sam Harris one. That was the big stink. It was like I logged onto Sam Harris's website and I became a hater of Muslims. That's literally what it said, and it was reported by Glenn Greenwald as his anonymous source.
Yeah, the actual article was alt-right online poison nearly turned me into a racist. It started.
Yes, and it was posted by Glenn Greenwald, the same dude who did the whole fucking the guy with Snowden, whatever his fucking name is. Yeah, it was the same dude. Yeah,
people are sharing this article saying, "Look, see what the alt-right, the right wing, and these nutters are like. These right wing, they're all racist."
There's no such thing as the alt-right. What it is the internet has become.
It's funny that certain people grabbed it because it was from the Guardian, and it was actually written by Godfrey Elfwick, who is posted on his Twitter feed. Okay, I hold my hands up. I wrote this, and someone said, "Bullshit, did you?" So then he shows the actual document that he got it from. He said, "You could have typed that up this afternoon." So then he actually showed his computer where the actual document is with the date of the document and when he wrote it, and they're like, "Oh, okay then." So he just trolled the Guardian something rotten, and in the meantime, all these.
Yeah, but it was Glenn Greenwald who posted it. It was his article. He said anonymous sources. It was actually Glenn Greenwald who wrote the article. It's kind of funny.
Have a look. He posted, have a look.
I seen that.
Was it Abby Wilkinson put it in the Guardian? Let's have a look.
No, it did. Glenn Greenwald got a lot of shit on Twitter for it.
Perhaps there was two of them.
They were like, "Oh, what's with your anonymous source shit?" Because he got a little stick over it, right? Because it was because he said, "I went to Sam Harris's webpage. I was indoctrinated by Sam Harris to hate Muslims."
To do that, yeah.
That's exactly what it was, and I was just like, "Lols." Like, I don't agree with everything Sam Harris says. I've had this discussion with Joseph before. I can understand why people think Muslims right now are the worst thing since sliced bread, but I would just say, calm your tits. All religion's bad. If you're an atheist or anything of that position, the majority of us are.
Funniest bit, have you read? Because Godfrey Elfwick said, right, this is the. He opened up and said it was me that did that trolling piece or that false piece. He's now published. Here's my next Guardian piece, entitled "The Day I Applied to Join Black Lives Matter UK," and he goes on to say,
"Oh, I hate them people."
But he says his next piece is going to be, "It was a bright August morning. I stepped up to the door of an address in Hackney, pressed the doorbell, and I heard the comforting chimes of Africa by Toto, and nodded my head in approval. After a few seconds, the door was opened by a charming white passing trans race man who called himself Babatunde. I later found out that his christened name was Nigel. I was invited in and entered a studio apartment adorned in tribal carvings. Please take a seat," said Babatunde. "Would you like a can of Umbongo?" I politely declined, as I'm not sure that beverage is actually vegan.
And by the way, I had an inspiration the other day, Mark. You've been asking me for fucking ever to do a thing for you. I don't know if you're going to bring the channel back, actually, Mark. I don't know if you're going to do it.
I don't know. David Snow's doing one as well. I think that's David.
Well, I would like you to bring it back, but I literally had an epiphany the other day, and I will say the graphic I've come up with is from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So be impressed. It's coming, dude. I've got the logo in my mind already. Seriously. I'm like, wow, it took how long? How long is that? Like 7 months or some shit to come up with a logo? I've got it now, dude. So, if you want to start your channel again or whatever you do, the logo's ready.
Let me know, yeah.
It's from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I watched it yesterday and I was like, boom, on it.
Send it to me. I've looked. Be cool. Yeah. Well, the thing, going back to the media thing. I mean, this in the internet age, I'm not sure if there's anything we can now regard as reputable news source, it's difficult to know who's
I
done.
would just say cross-reference. I mean, I don't trust the mainstream media, so that's weird in itself.
Well, I know, as I mentioned about this Pizzagate,
I don't know.
New York Times did a piece that just said, pay no attention, it's all a load of nonsense, it's all a load of lunatics. And then someone said, well, hang on a minute, the CEO of the New York Times is Mark Thompson, who was in charge at the BBC when there was that furore about Jimmy Savile and the Newsnight documentary, because the people came to him and said, we've heard all these rumours, we've gone away and done some investigation, we've done a piece for Newsnight that shows that Savile was an absolute fucking monster paedophile. Mark Thompson apparently knew about that, admitted later on he knew about it, but he ignored it and instead pulled that programme, and then they showed 2 programmes over the Christmas period in tribute to what a wonderful man Jimmy Savile was.
I think, I mean, you know, when you say before, hold on, I don't want to get conspiracy theory with you, Mark, but I can see where you're going with this, right? Do I have any misconceptions that whoever, Podesta, pedophiles, I wouldn't put it past them, just like I don't put it past the church. So I agree with you on that part, right? But what I would say is that I can understand internet memes at the same time. So it's kind, you know, it is hard to weigh it up. Now, can we trust the police to do anything, right?
Well, I can see the point there in relation to
Scouser, I would say fuck no. And you know exactly why. After Hillsborough, I'd be like, well, how long did we wait? 20 years for the fucking truth?
South Yorkshire place, wasn't it? But I can see the point where we've got to the point where some would say the far left or whatever are making such a problem for anyone. Well, as you all know, Rotherham, Rochdale, there, and Aylesbury, Oxford, Bristol.
No, but that's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but and the same thing with this thing at the moment. I just heard on the news now, doing the school run, I picked my son up, is that 350 potential victims have now come forward to say they've been sexually abused in the football. But a lot of the time, as we saw with Rotherham, where a lot of the people spoke to the police and said, there's this paedophile ring involving mainly Pakistani Muslims, and they all said, we daren't touch that because we'll get accused of being racist, we'll be accused of being anti-Muslim.
But it doesn't matter even if you're white in that sense. If you say, well, this happened, well, you get shut down, don't you? Yeah, I mean, I can understand the whole race thing and shit, and that's still shit. I think you should still do your job. I don't give a fuck what fucking race you're at or whatever. Yeah. You know, you still should do your job. But even if you're the same race, inverted commas,
if it's your career and you're thinking,
you still
they should go forward. But you can understand in the current climate that we're now in, where saying something against anyone that happens not to be white at the moment is immediately classed, you're called a racist. Well, hang on a minute. He is a paedophile, but he just happens to be a Pakistani bloke that lives in Rotherham and he's part of this group. No, can't do that because we can't have anything.
That's what I'm saying. I think
that's what happened with Rotherham, isn't it?
Attitudes are taken with like leaders and people in positions of power. They can't be doing that. That's not them, or popular people, stuff like that. People don't want to look at them in that light because of how they're portrayed on.
No, they don't want to see them as humans because what they project is a falsehood. No, because that's why we love celebrities, because they're not real. Celebrities are fake.
You've got Bill Cosby in America. We've got Savile.
No, hold on. It's not just America. Celebrities in general are fake. These people pretend to be something they're not, and we put them on a pedestal and then bow down to them. Like,
well, I think the media does that more than that's how they actually are. Like, there are some people that might think that way, but most celebrities just want to be people, right? And what happens is
celebrities want to be fucking.
Your life's in the spotlight so much, right? If you're like a loved celebrity, and let's say some rumor comes up that you're a child molester or something, or you've touched little kids, immediately people that like that person are like, no, they would never do that, right? And you're just gonna have like this streamline of people that just want to butt your head about it. But I think that, I don't know, man, stuff like that should be taken seriously. Like, that's just my opinion about those types of things. Like, if someone is accused of possibly murdering somebody, or someone's accused like stealing something, or vandalizing, that's a little different. But if someone's accused through like a series of whatever someone wants to consider circumstantial evidence or rumors or something of like potentially molesting little kids and shit, that's not something that you just go, well, where's the evidence? Like, maybe just pay attention to that person a little closely or something like that. I don't know. That's just me though. That's how I feel. I don't let stuff like that just bypass me. Even if it's like my brother, if my brother's accused of touching little kids or something, I'm gonna be, keeping a closer eye on my brother, because that's not just something that you just throw out in the wind.
And I understand a lot of the Pizzagate thing is some people view as a Hillary versus Trump thing. I understand that, but then for one moment, just think what the carnage there would be if Donald Trump had one of those pictures hanging up in his living room. There would be absolute carnage across the media.
It would be exactly what's happening right now, except from the left. The left would be accusing him of being a pedophile. He's this, that, and the other. And it's because when something doesn't suit your interests, you have to, it's only natural to combat it, right? So the way I see it is, hey, man, based on the track record that, we have in the world of not investigating these claims, considering a lot of the cases these people are guilty of these things, I think maybe we should start at least developing some sort of social system where we can think of ways to keep a close eye on people. Because this after the fact thing, right, is kind of stupid.
And I entirely accept I think the original reason for John Podesta being sent this phishing email was to discredit him in some way, or just fuck him up, or give his computer a virus or whatever. And I don't think for one moment perhaps the person that sent it expected him to answer it and then inadvertently end up with the guy's end up with the guy's password. And I think they probably set out to do one thing, and they may have uncovered something entirely different they never set out to do in the first place.
Yeah, I'm still looking into this whole thing. So I came in here to kind of gain a little bit more perspective, because the only things I've seen are what people have been posting on Google Plus, and then I try to look for it on the internet, and you just get kind of like ambiguous shit. So I just kind of wanted to...
This one has a bit more in it as well. We were talking about it before that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm probably going to rewatch it after it gets posted, because all I know is that there's some fishy emails about talking about pizza and going to a pizza parlor in a really strange manner. That's pretty much what I've gotten from it so far. And then that now these other images and paintings and stuff kind of, point to this guy's probably some sort of pervert in an unsavory way. Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting from it. And it wouldn't surprise me, because who is that guy? They were just talking about him, Wiener. He was like sexting like 15-year-olds, like this 15-year-old girl or something like this.
And who's Wiener married to? By coincidence, he's married to the woman who is Hillary Clinton's right-hand woman or whatever.
See,
what's her name? What's her name? Abdin? No. Hema. What's her name? Oh, I can't remember now.
Yeah, I don't know the players, but I know the game when I see the game. And
yeah, Anthony Weiner's wife is Huma Abedin, who is the vice chairwoman of Hillary Clinton's campaign. Does that mean that Hillary's involved in the stuff Weiner is? Of course not.
No.
But there you've got a link. You've got a link, and that's what people are doing, getting one and one and adding and getting three. Weiner just happens to be I don't know. But he just happens to be married to Huma Abedin, who's strong, as I said, she's the vice chairwoman. So John Podesta is the chairman of Hillary Clinton's campaign. Huma Abedin is supposedly linked to all sorts, allegedly, to do with the Saudis and ISIS, and some of her family are involved in the Muslim Brotherhood. So there's all sorts of tangents you can go off on. And then, of course, she's married to Anthony Weiner, who's been sending dick pics to 14-year-olds.
Right. Like, that's wild, bro. Like, and he got caught for that.
High up. These people are high up there.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. It's been proven that they're doing this stuff. Just because they're in a position of power or highly elevated or connected doesn't mean that they can't be what they are.
And that's what people want, that smoking gun. And it's like, you're not going to get that from these people. Like, yo, I go on like sites like Omegle, for fun, like those chat roulette things. There are motherfuckers on there, man, that they speak this weird code language, and their cameras are never on, and they're talking about like, trade for trade. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And then they'll just skip to the next person, because obviously I don't speak their language, But these people, they're out there and they exist, and it's not fake that they'll use like code words and stuff to keep their shit hidden.
Yeah, I've heard about it. You go onto that thing, and then someone will come up, and they'll just say exactly what you said. They'll say, how many notebooks do you want for your slippers?
Right. They use really weird language.
Can I see your coffee maker next to your pillow? You're like, what the fuck?
I'm like, what? What are you talking about, bro?
It's like the old thing with the old spy films, isn't it? You know, the weather in Moscow is mild at this time of year. That's a code.
Do you have any cake? Albatross put in the side. Do you have any cake? That's probably another one. But there are, yeah, I've seen like, and you come across these people, and it's like you don't know until you realize what's happening, you know. And when you realize what's happening, that you'll start to look like, I don't know, those were weird emails, man. I don't care who you are. No one talks about ordering pizza that way. Like, I don't care how rich you are or where the fuck you're going.
The last thing I would think about when I'm ordering a Hawaiian with extra cheese is whether it's got hair on it. Yeah, I wouldn't say, can you hold the hair? And they go like, what?
Even like talking between friends, like when you're making an order. You know, it's like, yeah, we're going to get a pepperoni pizza. Let's make sure it's got no hair on it, though, because, you know, that last time it had so much hair all over it. I don't know if I want to deal with that again, bro. Like, no,
it'd be no different to saying I want a Hawaiian with extra cheese and make sure there's no dog shit on it. Well, of course there'll be no dog shit on it, sir. It's a Hawaiian. Well, you know, the same as saying, yeah, as far as my pizza goes, I like it without hair. Of course you do. Who does? Who wants
shit? Like, obviously. What are you talking about? That's so funny.
It'd be looked at weird, wouldn't it? If you went in the Domino's and said, "Can I have a hairless Hawaiian?"
Someone should try that just to see the look on their faces when you order that shit. They'll be like, I beg your pardon? Have you gotten a pizza that had hair on it before? I apologize, sir. Yeah. Like, fuck off, man. I don't know. People just don't want to accept the possibility of things.
Can I have a Diet Coke without the arsenic?
Right. Sorry? No, Albatross, I most definitely believe that's probably a thing, because I've come across, like, I go on these places because it's fun, and whenever you're bored, you know, you just go fuck with people and shit. You can make cool YouTube videos. I see a lot of people make cool YouTube videos out of like trolling, like Omegle and chat roulette. But like, you come across like the weirdos, obviously, and there are weirdos all over the place. And yeah, they have like this odd way of communicating with each other. They know what they're saying. I have no fucking idea what they're saying. No one else really knows what they're saying unless you're in the circles. And yeah, that's not. It's weird though. I don't know, man. I wouldn't put it past them, like Sty said. I wouldn't put it past them for a second. Fuck, where'd everyone go? Whoever has mods, there's 2 people that need to be broadcasted.
Everybody went poof.
I know, yeah. I don't know what to make of all this Pizzagate shit. It's weird.
It takes time to get into it, man. It's not a 5-minute research project, you know what I mean?
Right.
So...
Oh, there we go. They got broadcasted.
Yeah, that was my fault. I fucking pushed my by mistake.
What, you have mods, Sty?
Pardon me. That was my fault. It was my fault. Sorry. Finally, I've got mods. Didn't know until like just then. Thank you, Steve.
Stop presenting me. You have no right to drag me into the limelight.
I didn't mean to. I was actually clicking on something else. I was listening to some reggae while listening to you guys. What I was gonna say though, I think what Joseph was saying is actually right there. I think the left. I hate this alt-left, alt-right shit.
Right, it exists, bro. It exists. You have to accept it.
No, I know it exists, right? I don't like it because I think it diverts the actual people who are in the center. Like, I think everybody in this room would be in the center, to be fair. And I think the alt-left, or the neoliberals, if you want to call them, have always existed. I think they've always been like posh people who pretend to be poor and want to liberalize society.
That's true, actually.
and you've always had racist people who are actually just racist, right? Who just give a fuck about their life. I don't think anything's changed. I think the problem is the internet's give voice to this shit. Like, seriously, like, do you guys ever remember, like, Atheist Plus?
Yeah, that didn't last very long.
That shit was a clusterfuck.
That didn't last very long, though.
Hopefully, this social media phenomena of alt-right, alt-left shit won't last for long. Hopefully, I don't know.
Well, alt-right can you can thank the PC culture for the alt-right group, though.
Yeah, because the PC, it's the left that gives them that name.
Well, yeah, it got out of hand. The political correctness thing got out of hand, and now you've created a heavy
fucking
opposition.
monster. They created their own fucking monster. Right?
And now Donald Trump's the president.
Yeah, I mean, you can laugh as much as you want, but
it's fun to me. I think it's hilarious.
No, it is in the sense of like
you reap what you sow, right? That's what they say. You reap what you fucking sow, man. You want to put shit out there, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's the right's fault. I think
no, it's nobody's fault. It's just when you create a culture of things and you're trying to, there's always give and take. There's always that. What's the thing? Every action has a reaction.
Yeah.
Right? All that shit. That shit is real, man. And this is just one nationwide result of that shit. You got to be careful. You have to have some moderation, right? Both sides of the of the fence, like Democrats and Republicans. There needs to be some moderation where they actually meet in the middle. Otherwise, you're going to keep having this kind of.
I think that's where the media's to blame, and that the extreme
they gotta make money.
They like the extreme of both, because they want to make money, and that's the problem. People fall into that trap of the extreme. Like, I can look at Donald Trump and you can, and we can laugh like ha ha, but at the end of the day is real people voted for him for a reason. They're broke, and that's the reason. They're broke, and they want some way to like fix my shit, And as much as you mightn't like this Donald Trump character, that guy's very real in the minds of a lot of people. So I don't see it as a joke. I see it as a realization that the PC left culture, I mean, to be fair, it's run by a bunch of hippies who are rich anyway. I mean, if you join Greenpeace, most of the Greenpeace activists are rich white guys who are hippies with rich white girls who are hippies. They've got no idea what real life's about. They don't know what it's like to be fucking poor. Half the people on YouTube who have these shows, they're not fucking poor.
It's funny.
They pretend that they're fucking poor.
I posted a video yesterday about it's like what liberals think about black people, and this white guy went around.
Oh, that was deadly.
Did you watch that video?
Yeah. See, it was on my feed. I was like, damn.
He asked all these people what they think about black people, and then he went and asked all these black people the reverse version of the questions.
Yeah.
Right, to see like if they actually carried ID, if they actually go and vote, if they actually know where the DMV is, if they know how to use the internet. Because this one chick said, "I don't think they know how to use the internet. They don't have access to the internet." Every person that they stopped had a smartphone with data. This one chick had unlimited data on her phone. I was just like, it was so funny.
Shit. I watched that video.
And all the white people that he asked, you could tell were like, upper middle class.
Yuppies. You should call them yuppies.
They got college paid for and all that shit. Got their license when they were 16.
Yeah, but Joseph, how can you possibly use the internet when you've got big, fat, chubby, hairy chimp fingers?
Shut up now, you sound like that fucking Alex Botton guy. I hate him so much. He's just
oh my god.
Yes. Okay, I don't hate him.
My tiny black man brain, I can't use the internet.
But all that fruit and bananas gets in the way of your keyboards, makes it not possible to use the internet.
Yeah, them fucking watermelon chickens and shit.
Oh, fried chicken. Too much grease in the brain. Dude, I was baffled, man. I didn't get offended because I was like, obviously these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, so it didn't offend
but these
me.
people vote.
I was just like,
that's what you gotta understand. These people vote.
Exactly what I was thinking. I was like, these are the motherfuckers that vote and represent, that group and claim to represent that group. The way they think of them is like these stupid, uneducated, and they don't have access to resources. Like
I honestly think rednecks are more educated when I watch a liberal who was like literally rich and just fresh out of college. I think honestly I would trust a redneck more than I trust these fuckers. And that's why Trump's elected.
Outlook of
because the rednecks are like, fuck you, nigger. I'm voting for Trump. Fuck you and Hillary, you fucking ass clown. Seriously, that's what happened. I love the fact that we voted for Brexit because that's the exact same shit. Like people are like, well, yeah, if you watch the BBC anyway, you're a racist. You hate immigrants and shit. I'm like, I didn't hate any of that shit, and I still voted to leave. So what's your plan of attack now, bitch?
Well, that's the media, right? That's where it goes back.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. But it's the same shit in America, man. They portray this shit like me and Mark are somehow like the worst of the worst because we actually have a brain, right, Mark? We're Brexiteers, we voted UKIP or some shit. No, we didn't.
If you tell a child often enough, you're not going out. And if you go out, you're a moron. And if you go, what are they going to do? They're going to go out, probably.
Yeah. Well, we're lefties because
they pre-label people that were thinking you're going to vote leave. You're a moron. You're a racist. And people got so fed up with that they just didn't bother to tell anyone what they were voting for, which is why the polls were so wrong. People just didn't say or said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to vote for Hillary." When they get in the voting booth, they voted for Trump. I mean, Hillary was so bad. It wasn't so much that he was any better. I think Hillary didn't offer any change to anyone.
No, she didn't.
And they thought it's going to be more of the same. And what was the only other alternative, apart from not voting, was voting for Trump. And that's what you got.
I think it was Massachusetts. I could be wrong on this. I think it was Massachusetts. I could be wrong. It was one state. I think it was mentioned.
Which state was this, guy? Say it again.
It was Massachusetts, but I'm not too sure.
One more time. Okay, I didn't. You broke up a little bit. What was that?
Massachusetts.
Hey, you keep breaking out. Could you say it one more time?
I keep wanting you to say Massachusetts.
Yeah. It's the exact same.
Similar to mathematics.
Can you just fuck off? Okay, it was a state in the United States beginning with M and ended in Massachusetts. I can't say it. Literally. Jesus. Massachusetts.
I gets trolled.
Who cares? Anyway, point being is, at least I laugh when I'm getting trolled. Okay, unless
just get a clip of the BG.
Point being is right. No, but in this state, right, they literally voted for everybody down ticket, but just not for the top line of who they want to be president, and that's where Hillary Clinton lost the election in one state. I'm no kidding.
Sty has all the answers, everyone.
She didn't lose just one
I like
state.
politics. I'm a political man. No, I'm just saying in that one state, that's how it came about.
If only Sty was a candidate.
In fact, it wasn't Massachusetts. Jesus.
It wasn't which state?
That one that I can't pronounce. Apparently,
I would love Sty.
It was actually Michigan.
Yeah, but
the one that I can't pronounce. It was actually Michigan. I would
love Sty to be Prime Minister of Britain because you could just imagine his first speech. He'd be like, "Listen, cunts."
I just fire them all. I just say you're all fired. I resign, and the Queen's in charge, and people wouldn't have any problem with that in Britain. If I said as Prime Minister, I quit, you're all fucking fired. And now I put the Queen back in charge. Everyone would be like, wow, someone who actually pays attention to politics. You know what?
The front page news.
If you had an actual election today in the United Kingdom, who would they want to run the country? The Conservatives, the Labour Party, the Lib Dems, or the Queen? I bet you a fucking tenner, and I literally know this is a fact, they'd say the Queen. And even Mark knows that shit.
Probably. But
they'd say the Queen.
She's not far off leaving us. She's 90-something now?
She's going to live till she's 102 or some shit. She's well fed.
Yeah. Those motherfuckers.
I mean, it's the same as this misinformation about the when they announced that the Buckingham Palace was going to undergo a £369 million refurbishment and refit. People said, people going, well, the Queen's got enough money, she'll fucking do it. Well, the Queen doesn't own Buckingham Palace in the first instance. The country does. It's a listed important heritage building that hasn't been touched since the 40s and 50s, that is in dire need of renovation because the electrics are
so is the Houses of Parliament. Fix them.
And the Queen brings in, through tourism, or the Queen, or the monarchy, if you like, brings in tourism alone, something like £1.1 billion a year. Let alone
she pays for herself.
If they want to do a trade deal, they send the Queen out to Namibia and say, "Can you go?"
We send everybody out there, don't we? We send all the little fucking twerps out there, like fucking Edward and shit.
This idea that the taxpayer is footing the bill is incorrect, because what happens is there's something called Crown Estates. That's all the estates belonging to the Crown have various businesses, and all the profits from that go in
to the Treasury.
They have to go to the Treasury. So they have to, and so what they've done is upped the amount that the Treasury gives back
So I hate Republicans. They're fucking idiots. They don't even know how the tax system works.
Crown estates give the money to the Treasury. Treasury is given a larger amount back each year to cover the renovations, which will come out of the royal household. So in effect, the taxpayer isn't paying for the renovations. And anyway, what they want to do, just see the place crumble. It'd be like saying the Statue of Liberty needs renovation. Fuck it, we're just going to let it fall over.
No, it's bollocks. And did you see the Daily Politics the other day, Mark? By any chance? They were like, "Well, meh," and they were like, "Well, it's going to cost us the taxpayer $500 million." It's like, have you seen? I was arguing the same
They're
point.
spending something like $4 billion renovating Westminster Palace.
No, the point is, right, the amount of GDP the United Kingdom makes, like, seriously, we turn over per year, like per annum. Like, think if you got a job, your gross income per year, whatever. The United Kingdom turns over at least 2 trillion. 2 trillion, right? I don't even know, I can't count the high, but it's a lot of money. And you're worrying about billions? This shit's pocket change to the government. Like, seriously, it is.
UK GDP per capita is something like 41,700 or 41. I think in US dollars, it's about $42,000.
It's a lot.
That's that's 60 million people. Our gross domestic product, or GDP, as you mentioned, in 2013 was 2.7 trillion.
Yeah,
US
that's
dollars.
That's how much the country made. Right? I know we have to pay some out. Well, that's obviously true. But the fact that you think we're broke, we're not broke. We're not Zimbabwe, motherfucker. We're like the 5th richest country on the planet, and we're a little tiny ass island. Get that shit straight. We're not broke. It's just that.
But you like these anti-monarchists or these?
Yeah, they're fucking idiots.
Yeah. Anarchists make me laugh. Only in the respect of.
I'm an anarchist, but I still like the monarchy. Fuck off.
Oh yeah, but these idea I've heard a couple of people say in a few hangouts about we don't need a police, we don't need any government, we don't need. Okay, so what happens when someone decides I'm going to take your fucking car?
Yeah, you're gonna ring Donald Trump.
You're gonna want a policeman to come along and say, no, you can't do that because we've got laws, and they want to do away with all that. They want to do away with the Queen, do away with the monarchy, do away with any sort of government. It
was Family Guy did an episode about that, and then what ended up happening was these group of people that finally successfully abolished all government. They essentially reestablished what was just a government.
Yeah, because
once they realized it, it did that flip around thing, and then just fucking everything went back to normal because they were like,
Well, Joseph and I were talking in the live chat someone earlier about communism in one of Tom Rabbit's hangouts about this idea that we won't need anyone to tell us what to do, and we'll all share everything. And then as soon as you say, well, what about when someone says, well, I want more than what you're giving me?
Right.
And they say, well, no, you can't. And then they say, oh, fuck it, I'll take it then. Well, no, you can't take it. Well, I'll take it by force. What are you going to do? And they really think that in the USSR, that the people that were in the Politburo were living the same life as someone in a 2-up, 2-down hovel on the outskirts of Moscow. No, they were eating the best food, driving the best cars, living in the most palatial homes. That isn't equal. That's someone in charge telling someone else what to do.
Yeah, but that's what you get with the same thing with like Jeff Keller. As much as I love Jeff, if you ever watch this, Jeff, I do love you. But Jeff's one of them like libtards who's like, well, we think the government and business should do everything. And it's like, no, like, yes, we understand what businesses do, but you can't let them run riot. No. What happened the last time we let them run riot? The crash of 2008.
People that say the country's terrible. I hate this country. I'm not British anymore because of the Brexit. Blah blah blah. But they're still availing. They still sit and avail themselves of everything that the state they detest provides them. They won't leave because that's the biggest freedom you've got in this country. You've got the freedom to fuck off somewhere else.
But that's the thing, right, Mark? They say, well, I won't be able to go to France for my fucking, I don't know, some special education shit. Of course you can, you twat. You can go to France before we even join the fucking EU, you idiot.
And what's going to happen?
We can't do anything. We can't make our own fish.
People start bringing up first world problems. They start bringing up first world problems.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
What they actually want is
they want to be comfortable that they take for granted all.
They want a fucking hug and a kiss. That's all they want.
They actually want the society to conform with what they want rather than them
but that's the whole point of neoliberalism.
And I think George Carlin mentioned it about the people that are the Save the Planet stuff. They save this, save that. Yeah, he said.
I love that.
You don't care about the planet. You just want a nice, clean place to live. Your own personal. You don't give a fuck about the bloke up the road that's homeless or the flooding in Staffordshire.
Well, that's the point. That's why the left have failed, because the left is pretended to be something that it wasn't. The left should be. Okay, I'm going to say this straight out. The left should be socialist, right? As much as you mightn't like Jeremy Corbyn, Mark, and I guess me and you're on the same agreements on Jeremy Corbyn. But you know, if we was to say his principles in a direction that you could say is true, then we would. But at the same time, that the British public wouldn't have a left to Labour government, because we're too used to the whole getting bullshitted by the right or centre. I mean, the centre is the right at this present.
I'm very pragmatic that you will need people that create wealth and create jobs, or have wealth, or that take the risk that they do to start companies that employ. That will always be the case. You will always need to have people that are rich or in charge, or more able to be in charge, or or leaders. You will always have to. This idea that everybody needs to be all the same and all have the same and no more than anyone else. There's no incentive then. If you've got why would a doctor go through all he has to do through school, university?
It's not about incentive.
Why would that doctor do all that to earn the same as a bloke that empties the bins?
Well, the thing is, right, we have to look at, first of all, we're confusing two subjects here. If you're looking at economics, which is mathematical algorithms, then yes, capitalism works. If you're looking at social patterns, then there is no confinement to why socialism couldn't work, per se. I mean, it's a cultural thing. People are selfish. I mean, if you take that into account, then that works very well with capitalism. But if people are giving, but if people give other people shit, which we've seen a trend over the past, I would say 10 years, with the rise of sharing networks, like what's that stupid shit called? Net something. I forgot what the fuck it's called. I used to use it once upon a time. The first music sharing thing, Napster. There we go. Napster was the biggest thing on the internet, where people would share their music, right? And the thing is, that's actually covered by economics. It's called gift economics. So if I purchase something, right? So let's say I purchase something, whatever the fuck it is, a computer game or a music CD, and I copy it, and I say, "Hey Mark, how you doing today?" And Mark's like, "Fine." And I say, "Hey Mark, I'm gonna give you something." And Mark's like, "What is it?" And I just say, "It's music," right? The copyright issue stops at me purchasing it, but it doesn't make me liable to give it to you for free, because I'm technically not making any money from me sharing it with you. And that's actually in economics. There was a case, I think it was Sweden or some of the fucking European country, I think France already did it recently, where it's not against the law to share stuff as long as you've paid for it. Because if you give it away for free, that's not copyright infringement, because I've paid for it already. I'm not making any monetary value from me giving it to you. I'm not liable for that.
Yeah, you're only liable for copyright if I
make money from it, right?
Broadcasting, yeah.
Exactly. So then lies the problem. So if I own a computer game, I guess it's a bit different in that regards, because I don't know how that would work. But music is a lot easier because it's only small, right? I'm giving it to you. I don't know how it works with computer games, but I guess the same preference is gift economics, where it is, if I give you something, therefore, as long as I'm not making money off sharing it with you, then I shouldn't be liable for anything, basically.
Well, yes, there's a lot of rackets involved. I mean, I mean, if you're probably old enough to remember, I mean, it was illegal to record music from the radio. When I was younger, you put a cassette deck.
Yeah, but they put a record button on your cassette tape. Right?
Yeah, but
that's the ironic part.
The radio was they realised that people were recording the top 40.
Mixtapes.
So they started putting extra things in to fuck up your recording, like interrupting the track near the end or halfway through. And then they started putting signals. Started putting actual signals in that fucked up the recording when you tried to play it back. Because they wanted people to go and buy the music rather than record it from the radio.
Well, a lot of bands as well have started doing. I know a few bands that have started releasing albums on the internet and just saying, "Well, fuck it, we don't care. We'll make money from the advertisement revenue."
Yeah, most of the money. I mean, music-wise now is always quite some decades.
But I think that's a better way to go. I think advertisements is a better way to go than actually selling.
Well, they release something on download an album, and they don't make any money from that. But they make their money from the touring and the merchandise and the associated stuff, not the
exactly right. And I think that's a better way to do it. I think advertisement is gonna understand that. If someone has a product, regardless if they buy it or not, the revenue from you actually going to said web page, clickbait or whatever, then they can make money from that. I mean, why not? I mean, I'm forced to watch fucking stupid BBC.
If you heard a single on the radio, you'd want to go and buy it, and then it might not be as a single, or you'd think, well, I want to buy their album, and then you know it's like you get the album home, and you might really like only 3 or 4 tracks out of 9. But now with iTunes, you can actually go and dissect the album and only buy the singles,
and that's cool. I mean, I remember when I used to always download computer games back in the day when they were actually still on fucking CDs and shit. I used to download the game, play it, test it out, and then I literally would go and buy it from the shop. For one reason and one reason only. I wanted it on my fucking shelf. I've got so many games from the 90s and early 2000s that I literally played because I got them illegally, but I still went and bought them. I didn't see any difference. I wanted to support the people who obviously made the game.
I used to buy the vinyl and then later on buy the CD, record the tracks I liked. It's even better now because I can put them straight onto a separate hard drive for my computer, and then I would flog the CD or the vinyl to my mates. I'd do it sometimes the day after. I'd buy the vinyl, record
and games are actually so cheap right now. I forgot, and this is not a joke, I've literally forgot the last time I actually illegally downloaded the game because they're so fucking cheap that I guess buy them. Because they are cheap. The games are fucking dead cheap these days. Especially if you got Steam. They're 75% off. I mean, I know games that I've sat there and gone, oh, I want to play it. And then I think, well, I'll just wait till Christmas. I get 75% off and I just buy them then.
Talking about PC video games? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, PC, yeah, because I'm not a console gamer. I used to be console at the time, but
well, then you probably don't buy things right when it comes out, then, because that's usually $60.
I used to though. I used to, Kev. I used to get them I used to pre-order them, and then I found out they was broke when I bought them, and I was like, never again. So I bite my lip because I am a gamer. I want to play all the newest games, but I guess having a Twitch kind of sucks because I do play games on Twitch, and people on Twitch like to see new games and people playing them and let's plays and shit. But I can't do that because I'm not paying the price that they're asking, and I just wait. 3 months, I'll get 25% off. 6 months, 50% off. 9 months, 75%. Seriously.
Well, I think that's different.
I bought Skyrim for £2.
Maybe you should clarify then, Sky. I mean, if you say that games are cheap, no, they're not cheap. But if you're patient, then yes, they can be cheap, just as you said. But when they're initially they're not cheap.
I understand why.
Skyrim.
I understand why, but look, I first downloaded Skyrim illegally. I will say that. I've got a good internet connection at the time. I downloaded it. It was cool. It was a great game. And then I never played it after that because I finished it and whatever. I seen it on Steam. I seen it on Steam for $30 or some shit. And I was like, why would I want to buy it when I played it? And then after a while, it went down to literally about €2, which is about $5 or some shit. And I was like, yes, please. now it's in my library permanently. I can't argue with that shit, dude.
Well, how much time did you have to wait for it to go down to €2? It wasn't just 2 months or anything. It was probably
it wasn't.
Year.
It was no, but that's what I'm saying. I already played it. What I'm saying is, right, if you like something, right, you will pay for it. I paid for it because I thought, yeah, it's worth the £2 now or whatever. But then £2 or whatever it was still went to the developer, so they're still getting paid. But I just didn't want to pay top dollar because I already beat the game anyway, so it's no big deal from. But I think well, because I'm a gamer anyway, and I'm in the game development kind of jig, I guess. I like people who support developers, but I would say to anybody who likes computer games, don't rush out on pre-order games or anything like that, because the amount of pressure these guys are under is immense. And if you look at 2016, the majority of AAA games have been broken. All of them. Like, seriously, like every game that I've come across, like I haven't even bought Mafia 3. That game, I own both of them. I was a big player of Mafia and Mafia 2. Fucking loved them both. When Mafia 3 came out, I was like, I'm hyped. Way. And then, excuse me, what? No 60 frames per second? Are you kidding me? So you made it on a port first and then give it... No, I ain't buying that shit. So they've just lost out on my $30 or $49, what the fuck it is. Because I can go on the internet and actually, before I buy the game, I can listen to other people's opinions. That's what counts these days. And that's why YouTube and shit are popular for games, because I'm not wasting my money on AAA games if they're broken. The same way with Battlefield 1. I ain't playing that shit if it's broke. They could have my money. I've been playing these games for fucking years. You're not getting my cash if it's broke. Piss off. No chance. And I make these fucking games anyway. I'm not saying I make them games, but I'm saying I make games personally as a hobby, just not to confuse anybody. I don't work for a big company or anything. So, but yeah, I'm not wasting money on fucking games no more, especially pre-orders. I played Dota 2 and that's fucking free. Thank you, Gaben.
I don't play anything anymore. That's because my son's commandeered the PS4 for just ever. So I have a go. No, Dad, you don't know what you're doing.
Last time the last good game I played was God of War. I think that was on the PS2.
My son says to me, I would play you at FIFA 17, Dad, or 16 or whatever it is. I would play you at FIFA, but you're just not very good at it. It's not worth it. Right. Thanks very much.
You're going to let your son talk to you that way, Mark?
Apparently, yes.
It's not worth arguing, I tell you, but believe me. He's 14. A teenager is enough.
Probably just battered him. Mark just sat there crying.
Yeah, but then the neighbours would bring the police.
Yeah, that's because you're a lefty.
I had my garden done in the summer. I haven't got anywhere to bury him now. It's just decking and patio. Oh, he went away. He went off travelling. I haven't seen him for ages. I can't do it now. I don't want a bumpy patio or a knackered. There's not enough space to fit him under the decking either.
You checked, right? Just making sure.
Well, I'd have to take the boards up and then take the waterproof stuff covering, the freight net. It's just not worth it.
That sounds like you've given this some thought.
And it's a bit cold at the moment. It's about -2 outside, so fuck that for a game of soldiers.
You're just lazy. Just admit it, you're just a lazy cunt.
Well, yeah, hardly. But I'm a full-time single father, so yeah, lazy is probably not on my agenda. I'm
a full-time lazy what? Sorry. I'm joking.
So yeah,
right.
I mean,
can I ask them what happened to the wife then? If you don't need to answer that, Mark. You can tell me to fuck off. That is not.
Let's just say that
you didn't agree. Would that be okay? You didn't agree on things.
No, it was a bit more than that. It was. Yeah, I'll tell you another day.
Yeah. You know what? I asked the question and I thought about it. Thought that's a shitty question. So yeah, don't answer that. It's just. I was only trying to ask because of the kid and Yeah, probably better for another day. Probably
Yeah,
more
they're
private scene.
fine. I mean, my son's 14. My daughter's just about to have a baby. She's 19.
Okay.
So yes, I will probably be a grandfather in about 2 weeks' time, which is great.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah, 19th it's due.
Oh, well.
So
Now you're gonna get abused, right? Well, you can't look after kids because she's 19 and having a baby and all that shit.
Well, she's doing all right for herself. She's doing some university stuff to get back to work.
Yeah, but you get accused just because you're male, you got a beard and all that shit.
And her boyfriend's still with her, so she's not a single mother, and she's got herself her own place.
That won't last long because you're a male.
She's doing all right, bless her. So,
well,
I wouldn't say bless her.
I would say, can I just say congrats to the little Mary Mint, whoever she is. Well, I know technically she's your daughter, but if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so I've just got the one at home now.
Well, that's good stuff. Well, I didn't mean to delve into stupid questions like your wife. I apologize.
And he's a good lad. He's well adjusted. He's not into drugs or crime, as far as I know. His school works very well. He does very well at school. He's in the top set. So, just in case that really pisses off the people that don't like single parents. But yeah, we're
I was brought up by single parents. I think the majority of people, I would suggest.
Yeah, I suppose he's had his moments. The whole marital breakup thing, whatever, affects him. Of course it does. But it hasn't turned him into a criminal, and he doesn't use it as an excuse for anything, which is great. Because I said to him, this is a situation, this is your life, this is what's happened.
No, just tell my breaking neck.
You've got to get on with it and be, of course I haven't been cruel and said, I've done the reasonable thing and said,
you don't need to though, Mark. As a grown-ass man, I think if I had a daughter or a child of your age, I don't think I would need to threaten anybody. I just look at them.
No.
It'd just be that look, right, Mark? It's just to say, yeah.
Stop. Don't reproduce, please.
The only time I've ever...
Oh, no, I don't want to. Hey, what? I don't want to inflict more pain on the human race than is already necessary. Are you kidding me?
The only time I've ever had any concerns with him as related to school was when he was in religious education in junior school and his teacher threatened to put him in detention because he wouldn't agree that he believed in God.
Oh, wow. I'd actually give him props for that. If he came home and said, Dad, I got detention, and I'd be like, why, son? And they'd be like, because God. I'd be like,
yeah, he came home to me and said, I've got detention next Tuesday. I said, what for? He said, because I don't believe in God. I said, yeah, right. What did you do wrong? He said, no, really, that's why. So I went straight to the school that afternoon and said, what's going on? Why are you... but the teacher was sent. I was told I had a letter a while later saying that the teacher had been sent for retraining and been. They discussed it with the teacher in question.
Yeah, Michael, behave. Just saying. Go on, Mark. Continue.
And that was it, really. Yeah, they sort of nicked it in the bud straight away. But then his religious education teacher was a full-on Christian religious person.
What do you expect a religious education teacher to be? A fucking atheist? That would be hilarious.
I suppose you could have.
Believe it or not, that happens more commonly than you would think, Sty. Seriously.
Really?
Oh yeah. There's lots of people that are interested.
My RE teacher loved my ass. I'm not even kidding. Right when I was a kid, my RE teacher loved me.
She loved your ass.
Wow. Well, I have got a cute bum, but no, she liked me because I didn't really like, as much as you probably guys know, I go off on people who were religious, but I never did in school. I was always very respectful to teachers in school, surprisingly. I know you probably can't imagine that shit, but I was.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, I would get thrown out of Sunday school regularly.
Yeah, that's Sunday school. You can get out of that shit. But in school, she was like, oh wow, she always gave me top marks, and I was like a fucking atheist, which is kind of funny. But yeah, her name was Mrs. Baird. Mark, I'm going to tell you something, right? And you mightn't believe me, but you know who my history teacher was when I was a kid?
Go on.
Do you know who Ed Balls was?
Oh yeah, I know Ed Balls. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he used to do the questions for Question of Sport, right? I don't know if he still does them anymore. That was actually my history teacher.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Claim to fame, That's your claim to fame. My claim to fame is that I was born I was born in the same Royal Naval Maternity Hospital as Christopher Hitchens. There you go.
But it never taught you fucking.
I lived in the same city, and there the comparison ends. It dies.
Yeah, well, the thing was, he was literally my head of year and my history teacher, and he used to do the questions for Question Sport, and he was awesome. He was a really good history teacher because he wasn't a dick. He would literally just be like, "Don't be a dick in class," and just. I don't know. He was just interesting I think he was the kind of teacher that everybody remembers when they go to school. There's like this one teacher that you just go, I actually used to like listen to him. Probably the subject was shit, but he was an interesting bloke. And Dave Ball, definitely one of them. I used to love the guy because he was just so cool. And I learned a lot of shit from him. He used to teach us about like Tudors and Stuarts and shit. Whatever. But he was a badass. And actually because he was like in with the Question Sport gang, we got to go to some meeting. It wasn't meeting, a day out, I should say. And I met John Aldridge and I called him Ian Rush. I was like, yeah, exactly right. He wasn't impressed.
They did look very similar.
No, he wasn't impressed at all.
The mullet and the porno moustache.
I just got confused. I was like you Ian Rush, and he looked at me as if like evil had just descended on him. Just like
apparently, it's Steve's hangout. Suggesting someone should come in because it's boring. Someone should come into his hangout and discuss something interesting.
We need to start a fight or something. I don't know. Get it going.
Yeah, they don't like actual conversations, probably.
That's easy.
Joe, you fucking idiot. God damn you.
Yeah, fuck you, Kevin, you wannabe Christian.
Wannabe Christian?
Yeah.
Great insult, Sty. Thanks.
I'm trying.
Great
insult. If you guys want to come in, feel free. The link is below.
It's in the live chat as well. I mean, we could always discuss G-Man and Ronnie as something really exciting.
Wow! Oh my God, that's so interesting.
I suppose the previous one was about dumb fuck of the year or something, which I think is quite funny, and I think Ronnie will probably win it. But
it doesn't normally Reds do that normally every year.
I think
I forgot to vote then. Oh, God.
Ronnie should probably get it, I think. It'd be better if someone actually went to his home and gave him a trophy.
Yeah, that would be great.
Just knock his door and say, there you go.
Probably get you arrested for like stalking him like Darwin's deity said. This is Darwin's deity. I was in a hangout with Robbie. Some guy does like an atheist chat thing. And Darwin's deity joined under the name Darth Dawkins.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. Did you see that? Oh my God.
I didn't see it, but I know that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. As soon as he joined, I was like, this is going to go like clusterfuck instantly. And I wouldn't mind. We had like this guy called Jeremy. He was like, he was a Christian and everyone was being dead fair to him and we was just asking questions and he was just being dead nice. And then this guy, who joins and it was a clusterfuck. I was like, I ain't even talking to you, dude. But he was saying, like, oh, you guys, you're just all trolls and stalkers. And I was just like, are you shitting me? What's
it's
this
weird.
persona you're lying
he'll join a room and then get into a fight with everybody and then accuse them of being trolls and then leave in a huff and puff. And
he was saying like, well, it's so nice to be in a room with an atheist who can talk. The guy didn't shut up for like an hour as usual. And he was like, oh, it's so nice that you, like, I'm in a room with atheists. He goes, no atheist would contest my shit. And I was like, dude, every other atheist on G Plus has you blocked, hence your sock account, you fucking moron. And it was just like, meh. Get out of here.
I wonder what his everyday life is like if he does that with people.
So someone that wouldn't shut up for hours. That's really interesting. I don't think
Fuck you. I know where that's going, Kev. Fuck you.
Oh, you're so bright, Sty.
Oh, yeah, I'm as bright as you.
Nothing gets past you, eh?
I get the impression that Darwin's deity, or wherever he is, spends a lot of time sobbing in the corner on his own.
I feel sorry for his wife and his kids if he has any.
Has he got a wife and kids? He's allowed to breed, for fucking hell.
They're probably all long gone from him. Because he seems like an intolerable person in general.
Well, yeah, they're either long gone or under the garden.
I think he's medicated. I think a lot of the Christians on here are medicated. Actually.
No, he's probably just an old guy that's bored and semi-retired.
Mm-hmm.
So he's read all these books on stuff, and he's probably pissed off because some atheist probably stepped on his grass.
No, I think a lot of the people who talk on here, Christians, like Kevin, medicated.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of like Matt Bell.
I first came across Matt Bell. When I say came across, don't take that literally. When I first saw Matt Bell on Twitter.
Across his bow.
Matt Bell was saying he was in his late 40s 6 years ago, and back then he was in his mid 50s. So I would think he's probably at least.
Can I raise a contentious issue with you, Mark?
No.
Am I allowed to? Well, let's make it fun. So what about our Annabelle then? She's a fucking rose, isn't she?
I like Annabelle. She's a good friend.
Yeah.
She's not everyone's taste, but
no shit, there, Sherlock.
That's the way it goes,
man.
I know. I'm not blaming you, Mark. I'm just saying she's interesting, isn't she, Mark?
No, I like women like her. My English teacher was like not like her, but she was very sarcastic and witty that way. Like she was that kind of woman. And she was like my favorite teacher in the world because she was like that. Like she was sarcastic with the students and witty and snarky and shit.
I think
so funny. So
I would like Annabelle more. I would like Annabelle more if she didn't get so frustrated with people. I think Annabelle's really nice, but I think she does fall for a lot of. I can tell you that
she's a very lovely and generous person, and also
I wouldn't say that's not the case.
No, one of her other qualities, as far as I'm concerned, is that as a friend, you know that when she gives you advice or says something, she's not bullshitting you. She'll tell you the truth. It may be brutal, you might not like it.
Right.
It doesn't fuck about, and you know where you stand.
To be honest, Mark, she is English, so that's not like.
We need more people that don't bullshit each other. Like people bullshit each other too much, and I am so not like that, and I don't like people that do it.
That's the thing.
If your friend is being an idiot, you say, "Hey, you're being a fucking idiot." And here's why, right?
And
like,
she told me that before.
Wrong, and that's what I hate about it because she does have an assumptions. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like Annabelle, right? I like her crustiness. It's the best way to say it. But I don't like doing she falls for it and then reacts in such a venomous way. Like I've trolled her before, and I've literally said this to her. She's called me a fucking nigger, and she's literally said it, and I've been like, why would you use that term if you're so angry?
Yeah, but you're not her friend. I think Mark's point of view is like as a personal friend. Like if you're like her friend, right? And I'm sure.
No, I know.
Like, we're talking about dealing with like semi-strangers.
She's stupid personal, then. But what I'm saying is she does that.
You can't take the actions of people on the internet as like I know we joke around and we talk shit about people, but you can't.
I'm not talking shit about Annabelle. Don't get me wrong.
I'm not saying that you are, man. Just listen to what the fuck I'm trying to tell you.
I just don't want her to get confused if she ever watches this shit.
Well, whatever, man. Don't worry about it because it's the internet, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to worry about shit. We don't all know each other like that, but Mark knows this woman, right? And I believe him. Because I sense that from her, right? It's when we get on the internet, we don't all know each other, so you're gonna say what the fuck you want, right? You're not gonna be the nicest person. You're not gonna be your best self. Essentially is what I'm trying to get at. When you come into places like this, you're going to be a version of yourself that probably wants to indulge in a little bit of name calling and a little bit of poking the bear and kind of thing, right? Because everybody does it because it's fun sometimes, but sometimes it gets out of hand and, people get called names like niggers and house niggers and stuff like that. Like names get thrown and people get thrown under the bus.
You have to be in certain circumstances.
It's the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the beast, man, and the beast is the internet.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm saying she's a nice person and all that shit. I'm agreeing with Mark saying, like, if she was like my friend and that kind, like, I'd listen to her. But what I'm saying is I've seen it like the other day in Tom's Hangouts. She literally fell for hook and sinker, and she was like saying shit, and I'm like,
you have a shorter fuse than a 2mm firecracker. Okay, so you are no one to talk about.
It's nice. You should say that. So have you,
right?
But that's okay.
So I'm just saying, it's a little bit of the pot calling the kettle.
Well, no, because this motherfucker is black. I ain't no kettle. I know what I am, and I know what people think of me. So I don't. No, but I don't need to pretend. That's the difference. Like people come at me like you just did then. Like, well, that's calling the kettle black. No, I ain't no fucking kettle, right? I know what I am, and I know why people don't like me because I like to engage in shit, and that's my own personal shit. But she isn't the same caliber, and that's what I'm saying. Is she's doing something else, and she's getting shit for it, and she gets so angry. Like,
well, yeah, I think there are certain people in the life. There are people that know what buttons to push. They push all the buttons, but then like I think I saw earlier today. I think Simon brought up something that was a bit dead and tried to restart a bit of old drama. So she came straight in and said, "If I can stop it, you're a twat." And that was about it, really. So she's,
and you know what? You know what's that over? Right? That's the thing that sparked up the other day. It was like the whole sugar thing, and I was like, oh god, there we go. And it just went on and on. I was like, can we just not go there? Because she wants to react on Mark, and that's the thing. Because I mean, she's trying to defend you, but the fact is, she could just said, "Shut up."
Well, I'm with Joseph. I mean,
to be fair,
for me, I used to do all this on Twitter many years ago, but it's hard doing this sort of thing on 140 characters a time. You end up spending 5 hours typing an argument. Right. And then I noticed that some people that were on there were also starting to do hangouts, so I gravitated here, and I've made some actual friends. I've met some good people, met some people I don't particularly like, but then if I met them in real life, I might have a beer. Who knows? But I've learned a lot of stuff. I've had a great laugh. And at the end of the day, I switch off the hangout, switch off my computer, and I go to bed, and I don't give it any more. I don't lay awake thinking, "Oh, G-Man called me a name."
Right.
Oh,
exactly.
I'm going to have to wait. When I wake up, I'm going to have to reply to that comment because, JD doesn't agree with me. Oh no, what am I going to do? Everyone else's JD friends are going to think I'm a lunatic.
Entire problem. That's the entire problem with G+. It's like, no, because people like me who troll people who are deadly serious. Like, I can't even get into JD's Hangouts on Talking Shit Tuesday.
No. Well,
I can't get in there, and he knows quite well because I'll argue against him just to piss him off.
No,
like, I've got no interest in it.
Sty. You won't shut up.
I won't shut up. That's fine. I won't shut up. That's fine. The point is, my points annoy people. I just like to annoy them in the face.
I don't think that's what it is, man.
That's not what it is.
No, exactly what it is. Look, you two have both got shitty internet connections. That's your own business.
What?
Don't blame me because you got worse internet.
When I see Sty coming into a hangout and I think, oh yes, he's interesting. I like Sty. He got some good points to make. But then as soon as he says I've had a lot of vodka, I think, oh shit.
Well, that's the meme, right? That's the meme. It's like the only people who know me, who know I don't drink, is the people who fucking know when I come on here, I'm deadly serious. And when I try your ass, I try your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, as you were the other day, I remember watching, who are you talking to? And I thought, he's trolling you. Don't take, and Sty's trolling you. And they just didn't. And I was killing myself laughing. It was just, all the buttons were getting pushed. And
no, I used to enjoy the whole you're drunk shit because I was. And then I think, well, I still talk to you and I still troll your ass. Maybe I should just get drunk anyway.
Yeah.
And people are that stupid. I like pushing people's buttons. It's not my fault.
And as I was trying to say earlier to JD about this Pizzagate thing, the fact that he's come to the conclusion that's different to mine. Fine, I accept that, no problem at all. But it doesn't make me wrong and him right, and it doesn't make him wrong and me right. But what happens is the problem is a lot gets lost in people that are so determined to win and to show that they're right and be seen to be right, and for other people to join in, and it becomes tribal at that point, and then the whole issue gets buried in this argument about who's bigger or better or righter or wronger.
Well, I think that the entire point of what you just said there, Mark, is the point of why I like to troll people, is because if I come on and it's a sophisticated hangout and stuff or whatever, I probably am very quiet. Steve McRae and other people can testify to this. In fact, I've had people say, "Oh wow, they're shocked that Sty isn't talking." Like even Kevin can testify to that. Well, Sty isn't talking. Well, because I'm listening, right? I mean, when you have conclusions of or pre-notions of what people are, preconceptions, whatever you want to call them. If you rely on that, then I would just direct you to one of my favorite books, which is Art of War. I rely on that shit. I rely on your pre-thing of how I'm supposed to be. That just makes me even better.
And I think that you're right. There's a lot of preconceptions about what certain hangout. If I wanted a sober, sophisticated, intellectual something or other, I'd probably go and watch an Aussie hangout, or go and watch a Bert Poole one, or Alex Malpass, or Helena Handbasket.
Or Steve Craze.
I do have to say, yeah, Steve does some good stuff on Evolution.
Some good ones
you can learn about. I wouldn't ever dream of coming into most of them because I'm not that sophisticated. I don't know much about it. And also, I do have to say, everybody out there, it's Helena Handbasket, not Helena, because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Right.
We're going to Helena Handbasket.
Right.
Makes sense.
We're going to Helena. Yeah, it's weird.
Helena Handbasket doesn't make sense. It's Helena, not Helena. There you go. Anyway, so if I most of the point, I like being entertained,
to say the least.
I used to like Nadia's for the same reason. I like Nadia. Some people don't. That's fine. And I liked her hangouts because it was diverse. There wasn't much moderation. And sometimes when you really wanted one on a Friday night, you could watch a fucking good row, or even go in and have one.
But that's, I guess the only two hangouts that I actually enjoy being in right now was actually Steve McRae's, which is obviously the one I'm in. I'm not saying that because I like you, Steve. I'm just saying because you actually have certain people in that I like. And also Tom Rabbits. Tom has some really good hangouts. And Joe over there, when he's asked as a TFI Friday.
Something together.
Yeah, well, you do have some. I know it's a weird time zone.
It's meant to be for jokes, though. It's not meant to be like.
Yeah, but I like that though because I feel. Because
people need to unwind, man. Everyone's so serious all the time.
Yeah.
Like, take a chill.
Well, that's why we started the boiled piss thing with just the Brits, because the boiled piss bit refers to when Wayne used to get angry and say that it makes me so angry it boils my piss.
Nice.
Boiled piss. And the whole idea was it was going to be more of a perspective from us Brits.
I like that though, Mark.
Really,
I think that's
really serious. It was just going to be a satire, rip the piss out of something, as we did with poor old Andy Jack. And for a while, but he's had a laugh about it now. We've worked for friends and everything, so that's the idea of it. And then, unfortunately, a couple of people that were doing it, are no longer around. They've gone off to do other things, and a couple of people fell out. We're all right now. We're friends again, but so you sort of killed it off.
Well, I think it should come back. But I think the point is that the certain hangouts where I would say I do troll, still to this day. Even though I'm sober, which is kind of a shock to most people. But in other hangouts, I will just be quiet and just listen because I don't know what the fuck people are talking about when it's like, organisms and shit, like stuff. I'm not that smart, so I just listen and just try and learn. I don't see anything wrong with doing that. And people get shocked when I
think there are some personalities, which is fine. That's the way they are as well. Are really stuck up on this. Having to be somewhere elevated above the rest. I don't care if person X doesn't like me. Not everyone's going to like me. I'm not that stupid.
I like you.
I'm an arsehole sometimes. I'm an idiot sometimes. We all are. So yeah, I've got no delusions of grandeur at all. But I do delight in taking the piss out of those that do insist on having that attitude towards. And I used to think, I've got to be. I hope those people don't think. When I first started around here, and now I think, hey, what am I talking about? What do I care if Joe Bloggs doesn't like me or thinks I'm a fuckwit? What? It's the internet.
I don't like people.
You're gonna think what you think anyways, regardless whether you're on here, off here, with your friends, with strangers. Like you're gonna think what you think. So
I was in certain cliques, whatever you want to call them,
right.
On here to start with, and I used to not worry so much. I didn't worry. I used to sort of think, well, I've got to, these people seem to be intellectually, and they're the sort of group I want to hang out with. And then we had a few disagreements, and then I sort of think, that one of those people from that group's now said something about me, and people will get the wrong impression, and I need to reply. And then I thought, no, fuck it, I don't need to reply.
Yes,
I don't.
off.
I don't need to explain myself. If you don't like me, so what? I don't really give a shit, and I doubt whether you give a shit if I like you or not either. So
that's the beauty. You should be more like me then, like a troll. Well, I wouldn't say a troll, but I think that's the best way to be. If you take online life too seriously, then that's just fucking ridiculous. It just shows you don't have an actual life. It just means that YouTube is your life, or G+.
Well, yeah, there are some people on here who I've noticed are pretty much on here all the time. And I sometimes
Every day.
I wake up in the morning and the same people are holding the hangout they were having before I went to bed. I think, how don't you people sleep? Haven't you got jobs? And then the answer usually is no to both of those, unfortunately. But,
well, I mean, that's true, but I mean, I don't mind intellectual debates. Like I said, I mean, Steve's had good intellectual debates. Steve's been drunk and fucked one up, and Steve can admit to that, and he said sorry for it and whatever. But it's the fucking internet, right? And if anyone comes on here expecting something more than what they want out of it, then they're very mistaken.
well, yeah, that's what I was trying to explain to JD on TST on Tuesday when I was asked to explain a bit about what I thought about Pizzagate. I said to him in advance, it's never going to work in an hour because other people will want to interrupt and get their bit in. I'm never going to do it. It's going to be a shit show. And
it shouldn't even be a debate, though. It should just be a conversation, really. I mean, he basically said like he agrees kind of with what you were saying anyway. So,
but then you look at JD and he gives you that grin, and I knew. And he said to me, "Can you come on every week and argue with Fiona because it really puts my views up?"
Yeah, but JD, I remember arguing with JD ages ago, dude, and he said like my mum's a history teacher, and that was just fucking evidence for believe. And I was like, oh fuck off. You know, he's never forgive me for that. To be fair, but
upfront about the fact that he loves a bit of drama, he loves talking about stuff, and he likes the views, and which is fine. I mean, it's like I can never understand about G-Man. That guy would have quite a lot of money if he'd have monetized his channel by now.
Yeah,
G-Man is a fucking legend.
He is. I'd rather because G-Man makes me laugh. He's entertaining. The others are boring fucking bastards. I mean. Who wants to listen?
I would rather have a conversation with fucking G-Man than fucking Darwin's deity any day of the week.
People like True Empiricism. He's better in like clips. Like if you edit a bunch of clips together and put like funny music behind it or something. Because the way he rambles on is honestly the strangest thing I've seen. It's so.
They should get the people like that, the boring fuckers, and give videos of them to the people that are on here all night that can't sleep, and then two problems will be probably solved at once.
Right.
I just listen to alien shit when I can't sleep. That's what I do. If I can't sleep, I just listen to alien shit.
What do you mean alien shit?
Just anything. Well, it's normally just noise. I just have a problem sleeping, being sober and sleeping. So I just listen to anything. So I like garbage. So it's mostly alien shit, like Coast to Coast AM. Joe Rogan. Just as long as anything's in my ear, which is a conversation, I don't mind what it is, really. To be honest, I don't really give a fuck. As long as I can hear a conversation, then I can sleep. I don't like to sleep in silence. I don't know what the fuck it is. I just like to hear noise, and then I just fall asleep.
One of the best is watching a Lord Stephen Christ video about the
No. No,
but his voice is very.
That would keep me awake. That's the.
I think that's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that a guy that thinks he's reincarnated Jesus has called himself Stephen.
Did you ever? Have you seen a YouTube video of him, Mark, at Coast to Coast AM, where he literally stands up in the other and says, "I'm God," and George Norrie goes, "Okay."
Well, no one's going to believe me.
The guy who's like the voice of conspiracy theories 101. He's like, "Okay." If you say so, pal. That was the best.
Lord Stephen actually wanted the attention so badly.
Where is it? It's Lord so Stephen funny if you see it.
He wanted the attention so badly, he actually resorted to threatening the life of the president so he would get himself arrested and get notoriety. That was just mental.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, the guy's just nuts. Is it George Norrie?
Mm-hmm.
The guy's fucking awesome. Shit, totally spelled it wrong, but oh well. He stands up in the audience and George's like, "Yep, next." It's fucking class. It's seriously class. God, where is it? I need to find it. What the fuck's it called? Oh jeez, George Norrie. Yeah, it is that weirdo. It is. Lord Stephen Christ confronts George Norrie at UFO Conference 2014. Oh, jeebus. It's a sad ball. If you want to entertain yourself, he gets ass kicked by Judge Norrie. Judge Norrie doesn't say anything. He just goes, "Yep, okay, if you say so." Literally, it's right there. And if you don't know what Stephen Christ looks like, that's him.
Oh, I know what he looks like. He's always, he looks like some CrossFit kind of guy. Like
he's there. He's literally there, dude. It's fucking hilarious. There's Judge Norrie on the screen there. He's like, haha. There he is with his cap and shit.
What gets me the most about
I am Lord Stephen Christ. I am reincarnated Christ. I'm here.
The other guys who claim to do this, at least they dress the part. Like they try to get the long hair and the white robe.
That was one of the funniest hangouts I'd ever seen when Brett Kane hosted a hangout that had Lord Stephen Christ in it, and Brett Kane brought in, I think it was Veckel, may have been Tonya at the time, and because when she was a God believer as such, and G-Man, and they were going through chatting about stuff, and then G-Man's like, whoa, his usual thing. What are you saying? And the guy said, he swore at G-Man, and he said, he told him, I am the resurrected Jesus, and G-Man was like, no, come on, sure. Is this guy? Brett King said, yeah, he's serious. And the other guy said, shut the fuck up or something to G-Man. He said, well, you can't be Jesus. You just said the F word. And he said, look, I'm Jesus. I can say what the fuck I like. Now fuck off. It's really funny.
Oh, my God.
Brilliant. I'm Jesus. I can swear if I like. Yeah, I don't owe you anything, you puny human. Absolutely. It's still on this channel. You go watch it. It's so funny. G-Man just cannot believe it. I am Jesus. What are you? Yeah, I am Jesus, the reincarnated. Like, I was like, no, you can't be. You're a fraud. I'm not a fucking fraud. Don't talk to me like that, you piece of shit. You can't swear at me. You're Jesus. It was really good.
Oh, jeez.
I'll try and find it.
Hey, Shadow, you broadcasted. Why is your shit? Oh, show broadcast.
That is amazing.
Oh, okay. There you are. Hello, Shadow. I literally broadcasted you, and then you just went away. Shadow, I apologize.
What happens when two people hit it at the same time?
Okay. Well, I tried my best. Anyway, welcome,
actually,
Shadow.
a lot of the time when you do that, what'll happen is if somebody clicks it 1 second before the other one, like a half second before, it'll shift down. And if you're not careful, I booted people for that shit before by mistake.
Okay, well, now you're in the room, so welcome, my good friend. How have you been anyway? You know why?
Amused, actually. Hey, Mark.
Dirty bitch.
Hi, Shadow. How are you?
Yeah, I was listening earlier, and I just realized that apparently a pizza place near where I was that was one of these places you go to play video games was apparently part of a pedophile ring because the only pizza they served was cheese.
There you go. Don't go there anymore. But you're all right. You're not a kid.
Hey.
There was another. There's some guy I'm reading in the news that's just been prosecuted for child abuse, and he runs a pizza place.
Bizarre.
He's called a Dojo.
The thing
Pizza. He does
karate.
That, you know, the same place.
All that this code, that code, yada 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 thing. Whenever I hear that, I'm always like, dude, really? Because years ago, I dated a woman that was bisexual, and we're sitting there walking around, and she points to this one woman because I'm like. I'd made the comment that, oh, she's kind of cute. And she goes, oh, she's a lesbian. I'm like, lesbian? She says, oh, she's wearing black sneakers. It's a code. And I look down and I'm like, I'm wearing black sneakers. Am I a lesbian?
Well, obviously not, but it's just to let another lesbian. But I'm just reading about this. This is true. This is a guy that runs a place called Dojo Pizza. Lauren Kopp, his name is. He's just been charged. He's hoarded photographs of underage naked girls in hardcore sex scenes, some of which he filmed himself. The 47-year-old former pastor, that's pastor as in P-A-S.
Oh, there you go. He's a pastor running a dojo.
P-A-S-T-O-R. 47-year-old pastor was indicted on Thursday by a federal grand jury on charges of making and possessing child pornography, but his business is called Dojo Pizza.
So he started off being a pastor, then he started a dojo because he liked watching kids rolling around with each other on mats. Is this what you're telling me?
I mean, why is it in America you can't just stick to having a fucking pizzeria? Why have they got to add ping pong to it or karate? Or, I mean, just do the one thing.
Well, okay. The place I was referencing earlier actually made sense. It was, I think, with like, actually, you wouldn't be over in England. There's let's David Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese and all these other kind of places that have really the main thing is to try to get the kids to waste quarters on the damn video games, and they also have the pizza that they lure them in with, which most of these places only have like cheese and pepperoni because they're cheap bastards, or because, no.
I mean, the one thing about this Pizzagate thing that did make me was a real stretch was because apparently the tagline for Comet Ping Pong Pizza is "Play, Eat, Drink." That's on their flyers, and someone has said, first word of play is P. First letter of play is P. First letter of eat is E. First letter of drink is D. That says PED.
Did they have ping pong there as well?
Yeah. So their tagline is "Play, Eat, Drink." Someone said, "Well, yeah, but if it's mainly a pizzeria,
if they have ping pong, it kind of makes sense.
Eat, drink, and play would be the tagline, surely, because it's mainly primarily a pizzeria. Why have they got play, eat, drink as their logo or on their logo? Because that spells PED, which is
but with some of the stuff you were saying earlier, with this is an anagram for that and this is an anagram for that. Well, then they'd just be saying there's an anagram for it.
Well,
so
yeah, I mean it's
fucking weird, man.
That is a weird coincidence that James Alefantis, or James, I think his first middle name's Achilles for some reason, or James A. Alefantis is almost, if you use one letter twice, an anagram of J'aime les enfants, which is French for I love children. That's just a weird coincidence. I don't think.
Did you? Okay, there was actually.
Yeah, there
was actually an actual guy that was involved in pedophilia that was down in Florida. That is a billionaire that had connections to a lot of politicians, including Bill Clinton.
Yeah, doesn't make Bill Clinton a pedophile, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. But it makes you wonder what's going on, and it does kind of question what's going on in the government, seeing as this guy ended up not facing any real charges. The government stepped in and had them dismissed. So he's got to have dirt on somebody.
In a lot of cases where there are political ties, it may well be the case that people think they can get themselves to a certain elevated position of power so that they perhaps won't be investigated, or convince themselves that they can shut people up, buy people off, and then are sadly mistaken when it comes to it. So, but this, the idea that
apparently the guy down in Florida, though, had connections and had been involved in lobbying a lot of different politicians, which, with the number of people that had apparently visited his location, is really interesting because it's both sides of the aisle.
Well, the Hampstead case in the UK is quite a weird one because they actually, I think the child interviews are actually on YouTube, and they've interviewed these children who gave a graphic account and really detailed explanation of how there was some satanic ritual abuse going on, and the police believed it. Then it turns out that they arrested or
there has never, as far as I know, there's never been one legitimate case of satanic ritual abuse, not one.
Then they interviewed the father, and he was being accused of being involved in it. And it turns out that the kid's mother and stepfather were the ones that were beating the shit out of the kids to coerce them into making up the full stories. So there was child abuse, but it wasn't the way that it was. It was the other side projected.
Yeah, one of the little wooies on here actually has made her the cornerstone of her fame was getting interviewed because she claimed that she'd been satanically ritually abused by a bunch of Mormons, weirdly enough. This was a number of years ago, and the funny thing is, if you look at her bio during the same period during which she claims that these Mormons were ritually satanically abusing her in the basement of some fucking person's house or whatever, and she was being held prisoner, she also on her bio claims that she was in New York doing modeling at the same time.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as I said, mentioned earlier, my father, I'm involved in the investigation business, for want of a better way of putting it. My father was a police officer for many, many years on the serious crime squad, and there are people out there who get a kick, sometimes a sexual kick, out of making up stuff to go and talk to the police about.
But here's the thing: is where do you draw the?
Then they're always the big kicks. As soon as this is why the police hold stuff back. You know, they've got a serial killer, and they put some stuff in the press, and then literally, it's true that lunatics will walk into the police station and say, "I did it." What did you do? Yeah. Oh, I smashed them in the head with a hammer or a blunt instrument, and then I cut one of their fingers off. It turns out they've read that in the newspaper. But the police don't say which finger was cut off. So they'll say to this lunatic, "Which finger did you cut off?" "Oh, it was the index finger." "Okay, thanks very much." Knowing full well it wasn't that. But there's so many of those to trawl through, that nutters that turn up that want to admit to all sorts of stuff.
Which is why they have to leave details out, because only the killer would actually know the details.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But at the same point, the real question, though, is in terms of, if you're trying to investigate something in here and that, how much is there of a tendency based upon one's own experience to start seeing patterns where they may not be there?
Well, it was discussed on the radio in the UK today about this 350 footballers have come forward to say they were abused by coaches when they were younger. They started off as one or two, and now it's a flood. There's 350 that have come forward historically. Not only do the police have to investigate the actual allegations, they then have to interview and investigate and speak to all the people that are connected to these individuals, their family, their friends, their other people that play football with them, then interview the people of the accused and the people that they mixed with, their family, friends, and it's just.
And I imagine people that are looking to get some degree of fame damage to the process.
Yeah, you're looking at 15 police forces in the UK right now are involved in investigating this huge. It's not conspiracy. It's not the. It wasn't a ring or anything. As far as at the moment, there's no connections. But coaches have been abusing young boys. Parents have been dropping them off at football practice, thinking they'll be fine. Turns out they've all been fiddled with at some point. Oh, things are much more stringent now. It's much more checks are much better. We're talking back to the sort of 80s and 90s.
Well, there's less stigmatism of the victims now than there was, and I think that's a little bit of a factor. That in a lot of areas, they used to require, back in the day, they used to require the children to essentially go on stand to confront their abuser, and they found out how detrimental that is, and that a lot of times the kids are too frightened to actually say anything, so that's not as necessary as it once had been, at least not in the US.
And I think, as Psycho has mentioned in the outside chat, there's the Rotherham case, child abuse ring in Rotherham, and it turns out now that there are numerous towns and cities in the UK that have got these child abuse or paedophile rings going on. Unfortunately, or for whatever reason, most of them tend to be groups of Pakistani men, mainly Muslims. And a lot of it wasn't investigated when it was brought up because authorities and police were terrified of being labelled as racists or Islamophobes and all the rest, so they ignored it.
But at the same point, we hear stories about in some areas that are very devoutly Muslim where, they almost follow Rome with the idea of taking a young boy as a lover.
Yeah, well, the Romans did it.
But no homo somehow. I don't get that.
Very odd.
Yeah, it's a weird kind of quasi-cultural thing, but only generally in the most fanatical regions. Absolutely bizarre.
Strange world we live in.
Of course, it could be worse. There was that freaking Muslim cleric a number of years ago that took a bride at the age of like 8 or something like this under the excuse of, well, Muhammad did it, so it's fine.
Yeah. So, going back even to this, we were talking earlier about, well, it's somebody, couldn't possibly be them because they're in an elevated position or in power or a big high profile celebrity. Well, Ratzinger was covering up child abuse, and he ended up being the Pope. That went all the way to, so you can't get much higher than that. Well, unless it's Christ himself.
Well, to Muslims, Muhammad might as well be.
Yeah. Well, at least Muhammad had stories of him being a bit of a paedophile. Jesus seems to have been okay.
Now, I argue with that a little bit because it's a little bit of that different time, different place kind of thing. I mean, realistically, if you look back at Mary, for example, she would have probably been about somewhere between 12 and 14 when she married Joseph, and he was probably in his 40s. It was just the way the culture was.
Yeah, the culture was as soon as you were, there is a blunt way of putting it, but I won't. But yeah, as soon as you started bleeding, you were ready. You were a woman. if that happened to be when you were 11, then that was the culture. That was the doesn't make it right because we know better.
No, it
now.
doesn't. It just means we got better.
Yeah, exactly.
It just means we got better.
So the argument that well, Muhammad was a paedophile, therefore your entire religion is based upon. I get the argument that if Muslims think that Muhammad was a perfect man, then that doesn't quite work out because he wasn't perfect. But then the argument could be, well, he didn't know any better because that was the culture at the time. So we're back to with that circular argument.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, once you get to he didn't know any better, so much for God intervening.
Yeah, there you go. You'd think at some point God would have tapped him on the shoulder and said, excuse me, no, that's not good.
Dude, really? Yeah, pretty much.
Although the incest bit's a bit confusing, I suppose, for the Hebrews at the time, because at the start it was incest, and at some point God said, right, we've got enough, we've done enough of that, got a decent population, we're not doing that anymore, it's a bad thing. But then after the flood, he would have said to Noah, do that incest thing. Noah would have probably said, well, hang on a minute, didn't we ban that before because it was a bad thing? Yeah, but then it's okay. We just
there's 8 of you. It's okay, and you're in Arkansas.
Yeah, and besides, your son's wife's quite hot.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Well, they weren't related.
Yeah, actually, in accordance to the 613 laws and the sex no-no list. Yeah, actually, there's one really weird.
But it seems
all the prohibitions.
We'll suspend those things for a while.
Yeah, but this is the 613 laws I'm referencing. Now, the weird thing is that in with the prohibitions, there was something that they forgot to add in, which is considered to be still there by the reverse of it being in place.
Well, yeah, you would have thought, being an all-knowing God that knew the future, he would have put the commandments with the terms and conditions apply at the bottom, except in cases of extreme flood.
Yeah.
Then it's fine.
Well, maybe it was before they invented disclaimers.
Yeah, but God would have known that as well, because he knows that he would have come this far and dear Lord, what is T's and C's? It's at the bottom of this. Yeah, well, not
available. These terms are not available in Kentucky or Arkansas.
And I wonder whether Noah was actually involved in the repopulation, because I mean, he was 600-700 years old by then. You'd have thought he might have had a bit of trouble in the old erectile.
No, they were more perfect there, so they didn't have those problems. Right.
All right, what's the scenario? You making friends there, Shadow?
Oh, we're talking about. Actually, right now we're talking about weird stuff in the Bible that's kind of oversights. But
I'll leave you to it then.
I was going to initially crack a joke about private investigators, though, to give Mark a little bit of a hard time. Because when somebody says that they have done the private investigation thing, my first thing is like, oh, but are you any good? Because I've known some really bad ones.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not for me, not in my gift to say I was any good, but we were a successful business and we didn't get many complaints. But it's a bit different in the UK. You have to be far more qualified here. You can't just. I don't know why. In America, anybody can just set up a detective agency.
Years and years ago, back when. Years and years ago, when I moved from Massachusetts down to Texas, my parents, after I moved at one point down here, my parents hadn't called them yet to give them my new phone number. And they decided to call a private investigator because they hadn't heard from me in a couple months, so they wanted to see what was going on. And over the course of, I think it was 6 months, the guy had tracked me to Florida.
Right.
I've never been to Florida. Good work, buddy.
He probably thought he was doing it cheap, I expect, wasn't charging a lot, and then he got a guy with a similar name and then didn't bother to do that. That'll be him. So then a lot of cowboy detective agencies do that, because then that person would have checked out that address and they were told, yeah, the person by that name did live here. Not you, obviously, same name, but he's moved. And so they go back to the private detective and say, oh, he's moved. Can you do some more work to find out where he's gone to from there? So they get a bit.
My last name's only slightly less normal than like Smith or Jones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an easy thing to do. But it's like, yeah, great job, guy. I told my father, I'm like, fire him, please.
There are some unscrupulous ones. That say that it's much more stringent now to get the licenses and qualifications that you need in this country, anyway. But
in the U.S., at least,
a lot
there's in terms of U.S. investigators, there's like 2 or 3 that I met that really seem more like voyeurs than anything else. It's like, haha, I have a license to spy on people and take pictures. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
These seem to be the ones that gravitate towards the cheating wife scenarios and trying, yeah.
Well, I no longer work for myself primarily anymore. I work for government now, but I do have some work that I still do as a freelance, if you like.
The question that I'd have, though, is as somebody that's done private investigation, this kind of stuff, and this is more so just my own curiosity, my own reference. After you go through and you've been investigating this, investigating that, how hard is it to not start seeing patterns that may not be there?
That's part of the training. Is to see you don't do that. That's part of it. I mean,
but how do they try to filter that out? That's what I'm curious about.
Most of it tends to be on the job experience. I mean, you can go to seminars and talks and as much as you like, but you tend to learn most of it as you go along, as you're doing the work. And it's one hard thing is trying not to apply it to family and friends.
So it's kind of like psychology in that sense, in that you study psychology so much you start psychoanalyzing everyone.
Yeah, especially with your kids, you can sort of you tend to think, oh, he's lying, or that, and you start to analyze it as you would, rather than doing it as a parent. It is difficult sometimes.
This is an author's curiosity at this point, by the way.
I know when my son's lying because I'm his dad and I know him very well, as opposed to I know he's lying because of my job.
Is that more of an instinct that's built up, or would you say it's more of a skill set?
I think a bit of both, a bit of skill, a bit something is perhaps. There are some detective agents that I know that don't seem to have that instinct. But then, for me, a lot of it was, I suppose, is also connected to the fact that my father has been involved in that and was a police officer. So I've been around these sorts of things and that sort of his friends and his work and the family friends. So I've been around that sort of thing all my life as well. So it was a natural progression to go into it. So whether that's on a psychological sense, whether that's something to do with it as well. But perhaps I was learning things or hearing things before I was involved in it that helped later on. But yeah, instinct is a big part, certainly.
Anyway, I'm actually sitting here just picking your brain as an author. I should probably shut up and let other people actually have a conversation.
You've actually got nowhere to go with it in calls.
Or figure out who Sty's talking to.
Sounds like he's in a supermarket and he's just fallen over a load of trolleys.
I don't know, but he just said something about continue being senile, so I don't know. Okay, I don't know whether to listen to his little bit of the show here or what.
Yeah, do we want to be voyeurs and listen into what Sty's doing, or?
Oh, everyone has a little bit of that. Let's just say there may have been a time that when I was playing with a police scanner years ago that we started finding the frequencies of those old, not actually, this is well pre-cellular, those old phones were like 800 megahertz frequency or something like that you could pick up on the scanners.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to be doing it, but at the same point, there was one point that I picked up a conversation this woman was having on the phone, and I'm like, oh crap, how do we report this to the police?
Well, when I was younger, it was CB, it was the Citizens Band radio, CB radio. Just to try and listen into police frequencies on those. And you got one of those sets. A friend of mine had a set that could listen into local police. And then you try and get there when you'd heard something was going on, so you could have a look at what was going on.
Yeah, when you start picking up on portable phone conversations, that's when you're officially breaking the law. It's illegal to do that, but at the same point, when you hear somebody talking about, you know, her and her husband beating the crap out of her kids and this kind of stuff over the phone, it's like, okay, I feel like I need to do something about this. What and how? And you
well,
can't.
yeah, because if it was the police doing it, it would be inadmissible as evidence. But if they'd obtained the evidence legally, but if they just got it from you, then they can be admissible, and they could
at
offer
the same
you.
point, though, they could go after me for having the fucking scanner and listening in.
Usually a prosecutor, if it's in America, or the CPS over here would suggest that they would offer you immunity. You give them the information. You would probably ask up front, you know, your lawyer would say, "Well, we'll let you have this information." My client's immune from prosecution for getting it. You're right, Stein.
Stizor. Oh, Stizor. Okay, he finally got it to stop. Okay. It just sounds like he's sitting on his phone now. Albatross. So I take it Steve's already pimped Redline's whole vote thing, right?
I think so, yeah. I think I saw him in the live chat saying he was going to cheat to make sure Ronnie won.
Yeah, I know.
You know, man, he beat that one down last night, too.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you do now? Hang on, I'm going to mute Sty because he's...
I'm going to cancel whatever the screen is. I don't like it. I don't like the price.
Hey, I'm muting you for a moment.
That's why I didn't say I'm a foot pounder or anything.
Okay, there we go. So what happened yesterday?
Oh, just last night in his show, he was just all about, you know, vote for Ronnie, vote for Ronnie.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I got to nip off because I got to cook dinner, etc. So thank you, Steve, for hosting this. And I know we deviated from the Pizzagate thing, but I hope, yeah, I enjoyed the chat and everything. So I'll let you guys change the subject to something interesting. And I'll see you later.
Favorite game ever. Charlie, Harry.
So everyone else is muted. Geez, this is the point at which I sneak out and just laugh while it's silent on the outside. Oh, maybe I should just read something out. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to sneak out. I'll catch y'all later. Unless somebody else has a topic. I'll take that as a no.